Birmingham City Commission at Birmingham City Hall, 151 Martin Street. It's 7 p.m., March 23rd. Please join me in standing and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Bingham, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Ballard?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Here.
Commissioner Haig?
Here.
Commissioner Host?
Here.
Commissioner Kolb?
Here.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Here.
Commissioner Teresa? Here.
Thank you. We move to item 3, which is proclamations, congratulatory resolutions, awards, appointments, resignations, and confirmations. Administration is of oath, introduction of guests and announcements. We have a couple of announcements. I'm going to give the floor to Commissioner Kolb for our first announcement.
Thank you, Mayor Baller. Before we move on to the business of this evening, I want to take a moment to speak directly to something that has weighed heavily on my heart, and I know on the hearts of many in this room and watching online. 11 days ago, a hate-fueled attack targeted Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, one of the greatest Jewish congregations of our region. While more than 140 children are inside those walls, thanks to the bravery of Temple Israel's security team and the extraordinary response of our first responders, every single child walked out safely. That is nothing short of a miracle, and those men and women deserve our deepest gratitude. But we cannot let the relief of that outcome obscure what it was, a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. Anti-Semitism is not an abstraction. It is here, in our region, and it demands that we speak up, clearly and without hesitation. Birmingham is home to a remarkable Jewish community, and I want you to hear this directly from me. You are seen, you are valued, and you belong here. This commission stands with you, not just in moments like this, but always. Hatred has no place in our city, and as long as I have the privilege of serving this community, I will never stop saying so. Thank you.
Here, here.
Thank you. I want to also add that the Birmingham Police and Fire Departments were both responded and assisted with the evacuation of the children and some other important tasks. And we received a letter of thanks from West Bloomfield, and we're happy to help. I'm also happy to announce that the City of Birmingham has been given an award for its brand new Historic Preservation Master Plan. The award is from the Michigan Historic Preservation Network. It's given each year to governments and institutions who have accomplished significant positive changes in historic preservation. The award recognizes Birmingham's interest in protecting and celebrating its history and heritage. It will be presented on May 8th at the organization's annual conference this year at the Eleanor and Edsel Ford House in Grosse Pointe. We're grateful to our planning director, Nicholas Dupuy, members of our Historic District Commission, the Historic District Study Committee, and we up here on the City Commission for bringing this plan into being. We're looking forward to building on our momentum as the plan is implemented. Moving on to appointments, we have an appointment to the Planning Board. Janelle Boyce. Come on down.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you all. Some new faces. I'm Janelle Boyce, and I live at 348 George Street. This is maybe my 6th or 7th time being up here, seeking a reappointment. I can't believe it. I've been in the city for over 30 years with my husband, and we've raised 3 children here. Professionally, I have my own small business. I'm an interior designer, I'm a residential builder, and I also work as an owner's rep for construction and redevelopment projects. Like I said, having been on the board for almost 20 years, I've had the honor of working with some pretty fantastic people, some very talented people, other board members and staff as well. I think we're really fortunate to have the group that we do. And we have some really big and hard work in front of us. As you know, we're soon meeting with Housel Levine to update our zoning ordinance, and I hope to be a part of that, and hope you will let me continue. on the board.
Thanks. Any questions? Yes?
Can I make any points?
Oh, certainly.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Janelle Boyce as a regular member to the Planning Board to serve a 3-year term to expire on March 28, 2029. I also would add that an exemplary voluntary service. Thank you for your time and your efforts.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. And I believe you're the only appointment tonight, so Ms. Bingham will swear you in.
Raise your hand. And you'll say, I do after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of this state, and endeavor to secure and maintain an honest and efficient administration of the affairs of Birmingham, free from partisan distinction or control, and to perform the duties of office of planning board according to the best of my ability.
I do.
And then you just sign there. I can put your name or your name. Sure.
Hold on. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. We truly appreciate your service.
Thanks very much. Have a good night.
Thanks. We're now open to the public for matters not on the agenda. We welcome public comment on items that do not appear anywhere else on the printed agenda. If you want to make a comment, approach the microphone and state your name and city of residence and fire away.
Hi,
3 minutes, please.
3 minutes? Okay, start the timer. I will be within the 3 minutes. First, I'm David Bloom. I'm a Birmingham resident. I want to thank Commissioner Colt for his comments about the Temple Israel attack. I had seen an article today that said that there were 100 or over 100 law enforcement and fire personnel that were treated for smoke inhalation while responding to the attack and protecting the people there. And so attacks against Jewish people not only harm the Jewish community, but affect all of us as well and people that are trying to protect us. So I think that should be called out, and that the costs of anti-Semitism, I'm Jewish obviously, reach far beyond just attacks against people that are Jewish. Okay. The second comment I want to make is I was at the parking district, or at the advisory parking committee meeting last week. During the meeting, I heard a city official say, if I heard him correctly, that the parking assessment district no longer exists. Based on that, if that was a correct statement, I want to make sure that a developer can't purchase a piece of property within the former parking assessment district and come before the planning board or this commission and say that based on the old rules, they don't have to provide parking if they decide to engage in new construction. And if someone can still do that, then I think these rules need to be looked at and refined before this happens again. Okay, my third comment. Last week, I received a disturbing phone call. All of you here, all of our elected officials, volunteer your time, even though you're getting $5 a meeting or $25 a meeting, in the service of this community. None of you deserve to have the city manager make disparaging comments about elected officials in city meetings at City Hall. And that's what I heard. Now, at this point, it's hearsay because someone called me and told me it happened, and they were very upset about it. And so I'd like to ask you to check and see if that's true or not, and hopefully it's not. And if it is true, maybe you guys want to do something about it. I don't think any of you employed, if you were still employed in industry, would think that they could keep their jobs for very long if they went around making comments about the top management in the organization. And then finally, there was a very nice article yesterday in the Free Press about a vintage store in Royal Oak that was relocating to Birmingham because of the foot traffic here, and that this was a better place for them to be, which I thought was very nice. Thank you.
Okay, generally, we don't respond, but I'm going to respond to a couple of things you said right off the bat, just to clarify so that anybody listening understands the situation. First, with regard to the parking assessment district, that is a term that we use to refer to the special assessment districts when we special assess for the parking decks. That doesn't mean we still recognize in the zoning ordinance under the downtown overlay ordinances recognizes a property owner's right to build a building and have commercial, retail, office, commercial space in it, and that developer need not provide parking for those uses. If there is going to be, and in some cases it's required, that there be residential as part of a development, then for the residential, they must provide parking. But to the extent that we say the parking assessment district no longer exists, that is to say that there is we are no longer assessing property owners in any portion of the city for any costs associated with building or maintaining the parking decks. So I hope that clarifies that. Pretty good job clarifying that? Okay.
Pretty good job. Can I add one more thing, and
Sure.
that is that when those properties paid into the district at the time was in perpetuity.
Right. The payments were covered, right. I believe we have an opinion that says we could special assess for maintenance or something like that, but we haven't talked about that. That's not a thing. That's it. No more discussion of that. Number two, if you're going to stand up here and make an allegation, the tapes exist. I don't expect anyone on this commission to go review tapes to prove a negative. So I don't know that anybody up here knows what you're talking about. And if you have some evidence of it and you want to bring it to somebody, that you can do that, okay? But I can't say it's inappropriate. You can stand up there and say whatever you want. That's your right. Nope,
Okay.
You're done. We're done. Sorry. We're going to move on to Mr. Clift.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission members. Mike Clift, Birmingham, Michigan, with the status report from the YMCA. As things wind down there, people come to me. I mean, they come to me every day I'm there and ask me what's going on, beyond the obvious, that the YMCA is winding down. And I say, well, I understand there are talks between the city at the YMCA and the YMCA still at some level. I don't know what the talks involve. I don't know if they're fruitful in any way. And I have to leave it at that because I don't know any more than that. I hope that we can find a way to make that work because I think it's a great deal for the city to find a middle ground and make that work. It's a better deal than Southfield has, building a new $22 million pool. And I think, in the end, I think it's a good deal for Next. Next is an organization that right now is the only tenant lined up for that building. They use less than half of the building, which in a sense they kind of like because occupying less than half means that the city picks up the utilities and the expenses for the other over 50%. For an organization whose membership is less than 50% Birmingham residents, I don't understand it. I think it's a no-brainer to find a way to make it work to get another tenant in that building. You know, even if there's some cost subsidizing for the long-term operation of the pool because it's a lot cheaper than building one. Those are my thoughts. And one more thing I might just share, and that's that they tell me what they're doing, the members, because they have to find other places. So they're going to Bloomfield, they're going to Farmington, they're going to Troy, and a lot of them are going to Royal Oak and to the Royal Oak Y, and maybe some other miscellaneous ones I can't think of. When they do that, I think they're kind of finding out what I'm finding out, is that the center of my economic activity is shifting with my daily trips to Royal Oak. I'm finding I can shop down there, I can eat down there, and I imagine other people are finding the same thing. Let's do a win-win and find a way to keep the pool going. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Last call for comments not on the agenda, on items not on the agenda. I don't see anybody up. If you are online and you want to make a comment, use the raise your hand function. We'll say that throughout the evening. We're going to move on to the consented. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Come on up.
Hi.
Tell us your name, where you're from.
My name is Lila. I'm a Birmingham resident. What was that?
Full name.
My name is Lila Brickner. I'm a Birmingham resident. I've lived here on and off for 10 years, but I bought my recent condo 4 years ago. I live at 1005 North Old Woodward. And I know that some folks are here today because we want to talk about ICE in Birmingham. I didn't see it on the agenda. I don't know if you want to.
It is on the agenda. It's
Oh, it is?
fairly late on the agenda, and would it, if it pleases the commission, to move that single agenda item up? Yes, I see you.
Very pleased.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to move item H2 on the agenda, the Birmingham Police Department's position on immigration enforcement, up on the agenda to be heard now.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Okay.
Thank you.
If you'll be seated, and we'll take a report from the city staff, and after that, we'll have commission discussion and public discussion. Thank you for bringing that up. Had you not, you might have been sitting here for a long time. I'm really glad you did. Yeah. So do we want to hear from the city manager or the police chief or what? Who wants to speak?
I think the police chief was prepared to speak on this.
Okay. Welcome back, Chief Gruey.
Be gentle on him. He's had a rough few months.
Thank you and good evening. Scott Gruey, Police Chief for the City of Birmingham. I did prepare a memo packet that is in the agenda tonight that basically explains our position as a police department on how we operate with ICE or how we don't operate with ICE, essentially. I did review what some other cities have been doing and compiled some of that together. Also worked with the city attorney, had her review that. Essentially what we're doing is just operating within the law, what we're allowed and legally allowed to do. I'll certainly answer any questions. If there's anything you want to review in terms of the memo or anything you'd like me to clarify, I'm happy to do that.
Anyone?
I think it would be helpful if, for the people who haven't read the agenda, you explain what is a 287G agreement, the fact that we don't have one,
Correct.
and perhaps address the calls that we have heard for us to pass some sort of a ordinance or policy or rule that says no entry into our buildings without a warrant, which I think people are asking for, which you have made a case for that not being something you can legally ask for. So I think all that discussion would be helpful for the people who have not read the packet.
Yeah, so the 287 agreement that you referred to is an agreement between a local agency and ICE for the local agency to do enforcement immigration for the federal agency. That is certainly something that we are not going to do. We have not been approached to do that. As far as I'm aware, none of the agencies around us have been approached by ICE to enter into such agreement. We certainly have not, and if we are, we would not agree to that. In terms of the public buildings, being the building is open to the public, that means it's open to everybody. It's open to law enforcement as well. We cannot restrict their access to that building. If you happen to review what Oakland County did, Oakland County said that the federal enforcement agencies were restricted from non-public county buildings. We really don't have such a building like that here in the city. I think the closest thing we may have would be DPS, but even they have a public lobby in the front of it. So there's no non-public building here. It's owned by the city of Birmingham that we would be able to do something similar to that. So city parks, city buildings, anything that's open to the public is open to everybody.
We do have some non-public spaces within City Hall, correct?
Correct, and those are restricted to everybody, unless they're escorted by someone from the city.
I think one of the concerns might be that that people don't know about this policy. They don't know what we've done. So I would ask the commission if, keep in mind that we could do something to do a better job of getting this out, what our policy is. We could publicize it. We could do a proclamation. But does anyone else on the commission have any?
Can I just, if I could add one more thing, a couple more things that's in that memo, just to make it clear for the public. Again, we have not been asked by ICE to help them in any ways. We will not help them in any way. If they were to call us and say that they had somebody in our town they want us to look for, we would not do that. If we were called to a scene where ICE was here operating within the city, we get called all the time from a lot of different agencies. It could be a local police agency. It could be a local federal agency that may be operating here within the city. If we were called by a resident or that agency to come assist because there was some type of safety issue, our responsibility in that scene would be to provide safety to everybody on that scene. We would verify that the operation was legal, and if such, we would allow it to continue and provide safety for everybody on scene. If we deemed it to be illegal, then we would work with those agencies to make sure that they do not continue that in our city until it is legal. The other thing that's been out there you see a lot about is the detainers, the civil, I'm drawing a blank here, where a judicial warrant versus the civil
Administrative
warrant. I've instructed my officers that we will only detain somebody on a judicial warrant. We will not work on a detainer only. Just for clarification.
I'm going to just ask the public, if anybody has a question or a comment, come on up to the microphone. Chief will be happy to answer your questions. You can make a comment.
I'm really happy to hear that. I do some immigration work, and I've seen families get ripped apart, and I've seen ICE break the law. You all know that they have been. And so I think it's really important that Birmingham be proactive and make a statement to the city so people know that they're safe here and they're protected by the police force here. So my ask is that we make some sort of statement. I don't know how you would do that, but I think it's really important that, people feel safe and feel protected. It sounds like this is kind of like the best that we can do, right? Like, require a judicial warrant, follow the law. If they're breaking the law, then we're not going to cooperate with ICE, right? It's kind of how it sounds. So thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but Stacy Schreiber, 1091 Oxford, Birmingham, Michigan. So I've been here before, and thank you for coming up and getting it moved forward. I read what you wrote, and I really appreciate it. So is that what's in writing right now, or are you also going to do like a separate resolution of what was said, that you will not participate with ICE unless there's a judicial warrant?
What's in writing is official. It is our city policy. It's not a big deal to put it out in some other form.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Okay. And then will the commission be making another resolution, or is this?
I'm not sure it would be a resolution or a proclamation. A resolution is a legal thing. I'm sorry, what?
We have a suggested action,
Oh, for tonight?
yes, to support the police department.
Okay.
So it's here.
Hopefully you've gotten some more emails from people.
Okay, I'm sorry.
know.
I didn't. Well, we do have a suggested resolution. Normally, we would wait till our next meeting to discuss, but it's on there. They're happy. If these guys are happy to go ahead with it, that's fine with me.
Okay. And also, so we talked about the judicial warrant and the 287 agreement. So, I mean, that's
Great.
what we're
Okay.
asking for.
Okay. Is there any other public comment? Come on up. As soon as let's.
Mike Clift again. I didn't come to comment on this, but I have a question. One of the things I think I heard Chief Gruey say is that they would want to establish that whatever agency it was, and mainly we're talking about ICE here, was not doing anything illegal or not operating in an illegal manner within the city. Would Does that include agents without uniforms or badges displayed?
You want to address that?
As a resident, I have a problem with that. Thank you, Chief.
So
Thank you.
that has come up in a lot of different items, and it came up also in some of the stuff I read. We cannot control what another department wears as a uniform. We have no authority over that. Even if the state was to try to make some type of law, that would basically be illegal because you can't force a federal agent to wear any type of uniform that the state is saying. And the problem with that too is it puts local officers in a jeopardy situation where if they now try to enforce that state law, they're legally interfering with a federal investigation, and they are now committing a violation of the law. So local agencies or even state agencies can't create laws that supersede federal law.
If you are called to an altercation that involves masked, armed people and residents or workers, and you don't know who's who, do you not seek to identify all of the participants in that
sure.
altercation?
For sure, we would identify them.
Okay.
Right, but we can't force them to wear a uniform that's going to identify themselves.
Right. Okay, so you would seek to identify and be clear that they are not some rogue gang of
Correct.
armed, masked thugs, but they're actually official.
Correct.
Okay, go on.
Is it
I think
okay if I go on?
Yeah, sure.
Other questions?
Sure.
So, and I think it also said in your statement, but this is for residents of Birmingham, but this is also for people that work in Birmingham.
Of course.
correct? And anybody that's dining and, okay, just,
Sure.
okay.
Hi.
Hi, Carlos Gilmer Hill, 1355 Pierce. Simple question. I believe the chief, you mentioned that there's a memo that's been submitted that was part of the agenda. Where can we get I just walked in.
City's website, you could go to the city's website, go to the City Commission page. You'll see the agenda. You'll be able to call it up. You can do it right on your phone if you want.
Page 589 and all. So it'll save you the first 588 pages.
To make it easier for you, you can literally just Google City of Birmingham Commission agendas, and it will pop up, and you'll be able to choose tonight, and you'll be able to go to that page.
Yeah,
If you want, I can show them real quick on the screen.
sure, whatever. Yeah, yes, sir.
Hello, good evening. I'm Charles McIntyre, 1848 East Melton, and I just want to express my appreciation to the chief and the other citizen commenters. I would strongly support everything that's been said so far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone online? Use the raise your hand function. Mayor Pro Tem, yes, please.
I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution to support the Birmingham Police Department's position to comply with all applicable local, state, and federal laws while providing compassionate, equitable police services to all who live, work, or travel in our community.
Second.
I'm not done yet. But I like the enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Furthermore, to support the police department's refusal to work with federal law enforcement for the sole purpose of immigration enforcement, and the department's position not to participate in a 287 agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have and I don't think we need a roll call on this, do we? Let's do a roll call. Any comment on the motion? Any comment from the commission? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Haig,
Yeah.
Commissioner Kold,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Host,
Yes.
Mayor Ballard.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to go back to the regular agenda, which is, we're now on item 5, which is the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are routine and will be enacted by one motion and approved by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of the items unless a commissioner or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered later. Does anyone on the commission wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Anyone in the public, in the room?
Was there an opportunity, I think you had closed new items to the agenda, would that be opening up later?
Wait, come forward, please. Come forward.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Kind of a little new to this, but
No, you have a good point. She got up during public comment.
Yeah.
For items not on the agenda. We immediately did what we did. I
No worries.
didn't, so I'm sorry, but can you
Jeff
just hold
Hofeld.
on one
Yeah.
second?
Oh, sure.
Would you mind sitting down so we
Absolutely.
can finish
Yeah.
what we were in the middle of, and then we'll come back to you? I'm sorry, my fault. So, anybody in the public want to remove an item from the consent agenda? If you're online, again, use your raise your hand function. I see none. Nobody here. Roll call, please. Or, I need a motion, sorry.
I'll make a motion to move the consent agenda, including items A through G.
Second.
Okay, now a roll call.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Haig?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Kolb?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to go back to item 4, open to the public for matters not on the agenda. Sir.
oh yeah, thank you for all that you guys do.
And-
Jeff Hofelt, 1166 Bird Avenue in Birmingham. We're pretty new residents here. My wife, Maren, and I just moved in. And it was recently brought to our attention that the CVS closure is going to be bringing up the possibility of a dollar store moving in to Birmingham. And just wanted to address the situation to see if there was any discussion around the close proximity of that dollar store to Pierce Elementary School, as well as to what that might do, bringing that into the area to create pressure for our local grocers. That data has supported that where dollar stores move in, nutrition, especially for our children, has a tendency of dropping as those very inexpensive, cheaply made products become easily accessible to our children. And so I just was wondering if the board had considered that and what the status might be of the Dollar Tree being able to be granted approval.
Okay, thanks. So, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, I was going to say, do you have
The status is that they have a right to put the store in, that there has been no review by the city commission. Go ahead.
Do you want me to just give the spiel? Because basically, as he mentioned, there is interest in a dollar store moving into that space. It is a legally permitted use in that zoning. They don't need to come to this board, the city commission, for any approval.
Okay.
The only approvals that they really need, well, it depends if they change anything on the site. And I hear that they might be changing some things on the site. They would go to the planning board for any site plan changes or signage, but they are allowed to be there.
Right.
We have received a lot of letters and comments from people. We've also had our police department contact the adjacent communities that do have dollar stores to determine if there's been any impact on their crime levels and so on. And they have not found any increase or change in their crime levels or an increase or attraction to crime with the dollar store being present. I know what you're referring to with the food, the quality of food in supermarkets, and I've read articles on that as well, and that tends to be more prevalent in low-income rural areas.
Okay.
Where you get a store like this. It's not generally been found to happen in more upscale suburban neighborhoods. But we do know that there are a lot of people that are concerned about it, but it is a permitted use.
Of course. Great. Will there be any public comment made as to the findings? Because I know I'd be interested very much in seeing some of that data, because that's great to help calm some other residents that have been having similar questions. Or
We
no,
can
not at
provide
this
an update in one of our newsletters, but if,
Yeah.
Or your letter that went to, could be, there was at least a memo about the research we did for other communities.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, if that could be made up for public consumption that way, I think that might calm some nerves around the residents.
do you have a card?
I do, actually. It's in my pocket.
If you want to leave it with me,
Yeah.
then I'll send you an email.
Please, thank you.
Okay, you're
Thanks for all that you do. Appreciate everybody.
You bet.
Mr. Mayor. Just a question. The letters that we got from the other communities, police, Is that public knowledge?
That was what I suggested that the city manager make public. And
It is public right now. It's not attorney-client privilege, so anybody could FOIA that.
Okay, but I'm just looking for it.
Maybe a suggestion,
I would be
Mayor?
happy to read it if I could find it.
Mayor, to make life easy for everybody, why don't we have that letter appended to the minutes of this meeting, just so that it's added as additional information, if that's permissible by the way we do things? Because that way it becomes part of the record for the gentleman and anyone else that's concerned. They can see it, rather than go through individually sending it out. Just an idea.
Okay. We are going to move on to the city manager's report.
Okay, I will start going through this, and I will try to be as quick as possible. As always, there's a lot of information on here. I'll start with updates from the Baldwin Public Library. Just for the public's knowledge, this Friday, March 27th, the library will be closed for Staff Development Day. It's the one day of the year that everybody can attend training, and they have a lot of different training sessions, safety sessions, et cetera. During that day, they will reopen as usual on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Also, a couple of upcoming events of interest at the library. There's an Oscars trivia night this Thursday. There's a creature feature show next Monday, and that's a live animal show, so they'll be bringing in live animals that people can look at. They have a Let's Go Birding event on Monday, April 6th, and then on Friday, April 10th, they will have a after-hours hide-and-seek for teens in grades 7 to 12, so pizza and hide-and-seek after the library closes for some fun. Updates from the Birmingham Museum. As you know, the Birmingham Museum is heading up our campaign for the America's 250th anniversary. And one of the things they're doing is looking further into the local indigenous heritage, and they have partnered with Southfield Library to do a program, and they have an indigenous person by the name of, I'm probably going to say it wrong anyways, but Yvonne Walker-Keshik, oh no, that one's easy, who will be coming to town for two special events. One for a seminar at the Southfield Library on Wednesday, April 8th at 6 p.m., and then coming to Birmingham on Thursday, April 9th to a day-long workshop at the museum where people can learn the ancient craft of unique porcupine quill and birch bark crafting. And so it's a very small group that'll be able to do that. If you want to join, you have to register. There is a fee for supplies, and we look forward to having people join us for that. From the Birmingham Shopping District, the Birmingham Shopping District folks have also been going through a lot of training lately. They had active assailant training March 2nd. Obviously, sadly, that's something that a lot of our groups have had to do in recent years. Also on March 4th, they attended Providing Excellent Customer Service, which was put on by our HR department for all city employees. Also on March 9th, they attended certification training for CPR and the automated defibrillator machine with the Birmingham Fire Department. So they appreciate all of that, and we thank both police, fire, and HR for providing all of that training. The next upcoming event for the BSD is the Spring Stroll, which is April 11th. So coming up here quickly. Hopefully everybody can get out and enjoy that evening. From the building department, we have an update on code enforcement. There have been some questions of late. What do we do? How many code enforcement officers do we have? What do we do? What do we enforce? What do we go out for? How many violations are issued, and so on. So there is a little bit of information in here that shows, at least for the last 5 years, the type of code violations and how many. And you can see from 2023, we had 852 code violation notices and tickets issued. And this year, we're up to 506 already, and it's only March, this was as of March 1st. So that is something that we're always out on. Of course, we get a lot of those complaints through GovPilot and residents phoning in concerns, but also our inspectors are always out looking around to see if there's any issues that need to be addressed. A lot of them are for safety, cleanliness, closed gates on construction sites, height of grass that hasn't been cut, snow that hasn't been plowed, et cetera. The building department also has their monthly report that you can click through the manager's report. The mayor did point out that it was missing a legend for one of the charts, which fell off the page, so it has been corrected. If you looked at it and were wondering why it was missing, it's fixed online now, so you can go in and look at it. From the city clerk's office, they note there'll be 2 upcoming elections, one on August 4th and one for the state primary, and one on November 3rd for the general election. They also want to mention that they've added a new drop-off ballot box inside City Hall on the first floor, so you can drop in your ballots there. We still have the ballot box outside, and this is kind of tied to an update that they have from the Postal Service, which just recently said that just because you have a postmark on an envelope doesn't mean that that was the date that it was received. It means that that was the date that we know it was in possession of the post office, but it doesn't necessarily align with the date on which the Postal Service first accepted the mail piece. So basically, there could be issues going back and forth as to what date it was received and whether the ballot's valid because of the date on the postmark. So if in doubt and you live in the city and you're in the city, drop it in one of the ballot boxes, no postage needed, and you're safe and secure. As I said, we have one outside and one inside. We had a gentleman just asked tonight where he could find that on the website. As you all know, we have a new software system for all of our agendas and minutes and attachments for the packets. They're all available on the city website. They're under what we call Civic Plus. And I know if any of you need any specific training, we're happy to provide it. But it's all out there. It's similar to the interface that we had before with meeting minutes, agendas, full packets, etc., but it does look a little different. Also, from the clerk's office, they want you to remember that the Celebrate Birmingham Hometown Parade and Party is coming up, and if anyone in the public is interested in volunteering, in participating in the parade, the party, or both, that includes all of you, because you all get the opportunity to walk in the parade with the city's banner. And also there are sponsorship opportunities available to anybody that would like their name to get out as a result of that event. From the city managers.
May I interrupt? The event being, I had to look it up, Sunday, May 17th at 1 p.m.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say that. That's correct. And then to Mr. Cliff's earlier comment, he had said he heard that there were some updates with the 400 East Lincoln property. And I just provided an update in here to kind of say, we all know we've been talking about this for 2.5 years, but for members of the public, it's been a long ride, right? A long road. So we bought the building in 2023. It was meant to be the permanent home of Next, and the Y was supposed to keep a small portion of their branch station or activities in that building. We had a senior millage that was approved to fund the improvements to the building. We spent 2 years looking at whether we wanted to demolish the building and put up a new building. It has now been determined that we are going back to the original plan. We're keeping the original building, or the current building at 400 East Lincoln. When we did the numbers to determine how much that senior millage amount of just over $3 million would assist with, it looks like basically that's only going to cover changes to mainly the first floor. So at this time, Next is proposed to occupy the first floor. There was a lease agreement that came before you in February, on February 23rd, and that covered all the grounds that Next is going to move in. We're going to charge them $1 rent, which is always what the agreement was, but they're going to provide the utility costs and pay for those types of costs. The space that is left, we have had extensive conversations with the Y about are they interested in maintaining the pool and operating the pool? Are they interested in maintaining a smaller branch? I've also reached out to 2 separate organizations to see if they are interested in operating the pool. Unfortunately, to date, nobody has been able to come up with a profitable model that will allow for the continued operation of the pool in that building. Unfortunately, we know that the Y sold us that building in the first place because they were having financial issues operating the old building and across their organization. So that's why they sold it. We have continued to work with them, and we will continue to work with them to see if there's any opportunity for any type of programming within the building. But thus far, our talks have not been fruitful in terms of their point is that they would not be able to make any money, that they would essentially lose money. with the amount of space that's left and what they could do. And of course, the pool is very expensive. So that's the update on that. Also from communications, the AI voice update. As most of you know, we have a chatbot that's been running on our website that has worked out very well. And our second phase of integrating AI now is for voice AI, so that when you call the city and you want to ask a question, you want to talk to the engineering department, the police department, whatever, it's basically going to be an AI-generated voice that will answer all of the basic questions. It will literally, and if you're on a cell phone when you make this call and you say, I have a new business in town, I want to open it, what do I need? It will say, you need a business license. Would you like me to send you a text of where you can get your business license? And you can say yes, and it will send you the link right to apply to your business license. So we're working on that. We're doing some testing right now internally, but that is coming soon. That does not mean that you can't still speak to a person if you wish, because you can still do that. The different newsletters that are going out, the spring Birmingham Beat newsletter will reach mailboxes by April 1st, so that's next week. Lots of good information in that. As always, if you want to receive newsletters, e-newsletters, alerts, updates, you can go onto our website under bhamgov.org/e-news and sign up for different updates. You can pick and choose your categories that you want updates on, whether it's road closures, construction, planning board, multimodal board, et cetera. From the Department of Public Services, I know the commission, you're all aware because I sent an email out not too long ago indicating that we've had a lovely winter season for water main break, and that we've had 23 so far as of March 3rd, and last year in the entire year we had 30. So we're already at 23 as of March 3rd. So particularly bad winter. Big thank you to our DPS folks who are out there in the freezing cold making these repairs as soon as they can. Also pothole season. This year we've also placed over 50 tons of cold patch and continuing. We have crews out every day. We've actually got some of the parks folks that are working on the street side to help us with pothole filling in because it's been such a bad winter. From the park side, with regards to St. James and Kenning Park designs, there's 2 opportunities for public engagement coming up. One is March 28th at the Peter Cotton Trail event at Booth Park from 12 to 2. If you want to weigh in as to what you'd like to see at those parks, you can do that. And a reminder, St. James is the park that's immediately adjacent to the 400 East Lincoln building. Also, there'll be public input taken at just prior to the Parks and Rec Board meeting on April 14th. Also on Crestview Park, we're looking at playground planning, and we have a public engagement session planned for May 5th at the Parks and Rec Board meeting for that park. Also, as part of the 250th anniversary celebrations, the Department of Public Service has been digging into some of the history, and they've determined that we have 5,000 maple trees on public property in Birmingham, and they've done a little presentation. They've done a little, I guess, event. They've gone and they've tapped the maple syrup from some of these trees, and they've got together with Oakland County to show how you can get the concentrate out of that and then turn that into maple syrup. So that's just in honor of history and recognition of all of the things that have gone on over the past 250 years. Also, the Parks Department was invited to present the Poppleton Park Playground project at will be at the April 20th Birmingham Rotary meeting. And a big thank you to the Rotary Club as well, because they did generously contribute $50,000 towards the upcoming development of that park, which is going to be an all-abilities playground that's proposed in that area. From the engineering department, you'll hear a little more about Bird Phase 1B coming up. That we are planning to start construction on that at the beginning of April, weather permitting and subject to approvals tonight. So there will be letters that will be going out to residents. Also, the Wimbledon Phase 2 project, there'll be a resident meeting on Thursday, April 16th to bring everybody up to speed on what's going on with that. Also, congratulations to the city. The Willits Bates Chester project received the American Public Works Association Metro Detroit Branch 2025 Project of the Year for transportation less than $1 million. So we received that award on Thursday, March 19th, so last week. So it's nice to get that recognition. From the fire department, just an updates, as you know, with the promotion of Battalion Chief Tom Hughes to Assistant Fire Chief in December, we had an open position. We went through a lot of applications. We did have quite a good number of folks that applied this time. We went through, and the selection has been made, and someone has accepted that position, and that's Evan Holland. He's just going through his physical and all of the last final wrap-up steps, but you will be getting an introduction to him soon. Just to tag on to that, I think you saw there was an email today about our new golf person, our golf pro. They started today, so we do have a new golf pro, literally just arrived today, so we were not going to bring them in tonight. They will be coming to a future meeting to be introduced. Also today, or this week, we will be having a new engineer that we have planned for them to start as well in the engineering department. All key roles, so we're happy to fill them. We also have a new electrical inspector in the building department who's full-time, so we're happy to have him on board as well. Back to the hiring anniversaries, normally I go through 20 years or more, so we do have 4 employees that we would like to recognize and thank for their 20 years or more of service to the city. Lisa Christie from the library, 20 years of service. Elizabeth Fu from the library, 21 years of service. Scott Pounders at the Department of Public Service for 22 years of service. And Melinda Comerford with the BSD for 26 years of service. So thank you to them for their dedication. From the planning department, you heard from Janelle Boyce earlier that Lucille Levine has been hired to do the zoning ordinance project. That's going to start ramping up very quickly. Things to keep in mind, April 22nd and 23rd, there will be the kickoff meetings, roundtables, focus groups, tours, essentially the launch of that project on those 2 dates. So you'll hear more about that in the coming weeks. The planning board has been reviewing a number of site plan review requests. There's a couple mentioned in here. One is the southeast corner of Maple and Woodward with a proposed 9-story building, Clover Hill Park Cemetery with an addition to the admin building, and then Snap Taco, which is looking to become a bistro. Several projects through the Historic District Commission as well. And then the Environmental Sustainability Committee, they meet on Mondays right before your meeting once a month, so they were just meeting, and they're talking about some of the recently completed or started projects out of the green plan that was adopted. And so they're looking at adopting a residential rain garden program, incentivizing or requiring the transition from natural gas to electric in residential renovation construction projects, a citywide food waste composting program, and then looking at the hydrology and topography of the city to come up with recommendations to make stormwater improvements. The mayor and I were lucky enough to attend the South Oakland County Mayor's Association dinner in Royal Oak, maybe 3 weeks ago or so, and the county was there presenting a program on food waste composting and how it is something that everybody's starting to get into, and the SACRA board, the South Oakland County Resource and Recovery Authority, is also looking into how they can accommodate that. So that's definitely a prime topic on everybody's minds from a sustainability perspective.
And may I add, food waste being by far, by weight, the largest category of waste that we produce.
That's correct. From the police department, we have an update. They mentioned that they have been, they had their female officers go to a new conference on women. Well, I don't know if it's new. They went to the 2026 Women in Law Enforcement Conference, and they received training on a lot of different areas. Of course, police chief says that we're very proud of our female officers as well, and they all attended several of them attended the 2-day conferences where they heard speakers on difficult but necessary dialogues for courageous conversations and change, community relationships with the community, public trust, wellness and empowerment, and leadership and resilience for dealing with a difficult profession. So we're glad that they all went to that. Also, the Office of Highway Safety Planning, there was a training offered, and as you know, and I know several of you have mentioned of late, that we are always interested in traffic enforcement, noise, speeding, et cetera. Captain Ryan Kearney attended that specialized training to deal with that very issue, and as you know, we're always focused on that within the city. But our hands are a little bit tied on the noise side from the state, so we are still sending Chief Gruey to mix with the state representatives and ensure that they keep that moving forward. So, another update from the police department. I know we talked about this a few times with regards to the 15-minute parking spaces near Adachi Restaurant on Brown Street. But we do have a new system we're trying in 2 locations. That one and near Birmingham Roast, where we have a lot of people that are stopping, blocking the street, just stopping, parking, standing, whatever you want to call it. So we do have new devices. There's metal poles with a kind of a circle, and it takes a picture. And so it's where we've had trouble enforcing and a regular, routine, consistent problem. We are not doing this citywide on all parking. It's only for these 2 problem spots. Should we decide to expand it, we'll come and talk to you a little bit more. But the loading, for instance, you have a 15-minute spot and people were coming and staying there all day. So basically, you have to send somebody over there every 20 minutes to give a ticket. So just so if you hear anything from your constituents, what it does is it creates the violation, it sends it to the police department. We do have a person that verifies that it's an accurate and it's official and it should be issued, and then it's mailed, the ticket is mailed out to people's homes. So that's new in the last little while. Also, an update from the parking system. You probably all have heard at the last APC meeting, there was a lot of discussion on whether we increase the parking rates for structures. And there was originally a plan to raise all of the structure monthly parking rates. Then the APC, well, at least staff said, well, maybe we could scale that back a little bit and do it structure by structure as the improvements are made. As you know, we're doing a large-scale investment in maintenance and structural repair, et cetera, for all of our parking decks. So even with that scaled-back approach, the APC is still not in favor of raising rates at this time, I would say. So they're still going to discuss it. It hasn't been decided 100% that they'll be discussing it again. The BSD board members came out to that meeting as well, and they're also against raising any parking rates. One thing that everybody seemed happy with was we did make, or the APC did recommend a small change to the evening monthly parking program, which was the one I think Commissioner or Mayor Pro Tem Long, you brought up that what can we do for, retail and service employees that work in the evenings? And we do have a program in place, and we're looking to add an hour to that, so it would start at 3 instead of 4, because what we were hearing was 4 was a little bit late for the dinner hour workers to come. And they can buy a monthly pass for a reduced rate and park in the structures when basically everybody else is going home for the evening. So that they were in favor of, and they will be coming to you for final approval. And in other news, we'll talk about this a little later, but we will have a workshop on Monday, April 13th to have city commission interviews.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Questions for the city manager on her report?
Yeah, one question. So on the voice bots, one of the things from my past life that frequently goes wrong is out pathways. So the way AI tends to push you in the way the purveyors of products, and they want to push you through each item as fast as you can, and they don't give pathways out fast. And they're not clear as to what those pathways are out. So at any point during this message, you can press pound and speak to a person. So just make sure that is incorporated, because most of the AI bots that I've seen deployed have failed because of out pathways.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. We'll pass that along to our group that's working on that.
It was nice of you to mention that we have a new golf pro, so to speak, running the program, and today was his or her first day.
His first day, yes.
I hope you publicize whatever the bio is so that the citizens know who the new manager is.
We can do that.
Name?
Well, I can't remember his last name, but his first name is Austin.
Okay. Austin. Other questions for city manager? Questions from the public for the city manager?
Yes, a question and a comment.
Okay.
The question.
You are?
David Bloom,
Thank you.
Birmingham resident. There was some information in the city manager report regarding the pool and talking with the Y to see if they would take that space on, an additional vacant space over at Lincoln. And there were two other organizations that the city manager said she had reached out to, and she said that at this point in time, none of those three options could come up with a viable financial model. What I would ask if it's possible for the city to be in touch with those organizations, to take a look at their models and see how far they're falling short of being a financially viable model. And it might possibly be in the city's interest to try and see if we can help them get to a viable model with some type of contribution or subsidy or something like that.
Thank you.
The second comment relates to the advisory parking committee meeting. During that meeting, there was a request in terms of raising fees that there be a supplemental fee added to parking fees to go into a separate city-wide sustainability fund. And part of the explanation, if I heard it correctly, was that people coming into Birmingham are creating carbon issues, and so the city wants to have a sustainability fund that money can go into, which would be separate from the parking, which basically is kind of like a carbon tax, and it would be discouraging people from coming into the downtown, which is one of the reasons why the PSD does not support this. So, and my thoughts on this are that the parking fees that are paid at in the decks and the meters should go to the parking fund and not go off other places. It would be harder to keep track of. It would make things more difficult for the parking committee to manage, and I don't think we should be mixing peanut butter with the jelly here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to new business, item 8. Unfinished business, item 7, I'm sorry. This is a resolution approving the draft community survey questions and possibly authorizing the distribution of the survey to the public. Ms. Fairbairn?
Yes, good evening.
Hi.
So tonight I bring back to you the community survey draft. The last time that this was presented to the commission was on January 26th, at which time the commission decided not to take action on moving forward with that draft, but instead to submit comments to me and then also to our consultant, Will St. Armour from Cobalt Community Research. You all did so, and those comments were included in tonight's packet. And from that point forward, all of those comments were sent to Will and Cobalt. There was a revised draft, and that revised draft was brought back to our working group. To remind everyone, our working group consisted of 2 residents, Deborah Horner, Andy McMackum, and 2 commissioners, Commissioner Haig and Commissioner Kolb, and a handful of staff, myself, Assistant City Manager Mark Clemens, City Engineer Melissa Coda, Planning Director Nick Dupuis, Communications Director Mary Ann Gamboa. And, as a group, we all really worked hard to make sure that your comments from January and into early February were incorporated. And some of those kind of big overarching themes that came out of the commission comments was to make sure that we had a shortened down draft. We were able to shave, I would say, about a page and a half. Will is on, or he should be on Zoom, but one of the bits of feedback he gave us is that while 6 pages is definitely achievable by survey takers, the shorter you can get it, the more people you have participate. So we did work really hard as a group all of our hands in it to link. And then another big overarching theme of that commentary was to provide some more context to the big questions. So one of the questions that you'll see that is very different from what you saw in January is about our funding for unimproved roads. And this is not intended to be like a be-all, end-all piece of community engagement around this very big policy question presented to you, but a way to learn from a statistically valid sample of our residents what they're thinking and how that correlates to if you currently live on an unimproved road, based on the survey, is you're thinking about how it should be funded different than if you live on a currently improved road. And the other main thing we added is you'll see on page 4 of the survey, between question 24 and 25, is the dollar bill image about where your tax dollars go. Once again, being an education piece to point out that while residents experience their property taxes as one lump sum, the city of Birmingham only gets a slice of it. And within that slice, the city commission makes decisions with resident input and resident engagement of how to spend that money and to learn the priorities of the residents. And, upon approval of the questions tonight or at a future meeting, the team from Cobalt will certainly go over everything with a fine-tooth comb as far as spacing and spelling and, the dollar bill might need to be sharp, like a higher resolution image. But once we get that, we can get that final beautifully packaged print survey out to a sample of about 2,000 residents with the availability to do it online.
Good.
That
conclude your report?
That concludes my report,
Okay,
but I
good.
can answer questions and is also
Good.
available.
I'm sure
to
there will be
questions.
some. I have a couple questions about the process. So since our last review of this as a commission, your group met in person together in a room?
On Zoom.
You met on Zoom. How many times?
So our group met for one.
Twice, wasn't it? Twice is
I
coming
have
to
my
mind to me.
list. So we had
I think it's twice.
yeah. So one extremely long meeting in February, and then another shorter meeting in March.
Okay. And everyone was present?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And, but in between, I've also sent out, every
Right.
draft that
And
comes
then-
out goes to the group as well.
The commissioners who were on the board, were your comments that were in the packet, were they made prior to your subsequent meetings, or did they come, you know what I mean?
I think it was between meeting 1 and 2,
Okay.
and then meeting 2, we took an awful lot of those into what you see now, because there was a significant amount of change happen. I mean, it was a very iterative process, but it was a constructively iterative process, so it worked.
All right. So I'll open it up to the commission.
I have a couple. Oh, so good. That's fine.
May I?
Commissioner Host?
Oh, Melissa, just before 2 o'clock today, Christy Hull Barrett sent you what I thought was some very interesting comments, and I noticed that they're not in our packet tonight. I don't know how it was written to the city commission. I hope you'll incorporate those into the survey if they're good comments.
Yeah, so we received her comments late this afternoon, or at least I received them late this afternoon.
So did we.
And I certainly read them and internalized them, but because her comments were based on the dollar bill image and materials prepared by our finance department, I was not able to get with Mary Chavez this evening.
Yeah.
Because
No,
she's deep in the
I
budget
understand.
process also, but we can
Right. So I
double
think,
check any of that work.
just to clarify, or for anyone who's listening, these were comments about the dollar bill and how the money is specifically dealing with taxes for schools and how they're divvied up. And we trust that the committee will look at her comments and clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just the cadence of how something ends up in the packet, it would have had to have been
By Wednesday.
by last Wednesday
Right.
before it got into
Right.
this packet.
Right.
But
So-
it will be in the next one to be public.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I understand a lot of work's gone to this, but I think we're missing out on a couple tidbits that we could get. Number one is on number 4, do you generally feel safe in Birmingham? Yes, no, or don't know. How about a follow-up that says why? Because we followed up with police, fire, and emergency medical, but you might have somebody say, well, I don't feel safe because there's a tree in front of my house that's going to fall down, or I don't feel safe because ice might be here, or whatever. It may have nothing to do with police, fire, or medical. So if they're going to say, no, I don't feel safe, let's find out why. Might be interesting. We did this in another question, but on 8, where you ask about the assessment and how we're going to do the roads and what have you, maybe a follow-up question after 8 would be, how much would you be willing to pay yearly in addition to what you already pay to have the roads? In other words, it might give us an idea, if we're going to do a bond, of how much bond we're going to ask for, because we're going to turn it around and say, we're going to do a bond for X amount, and it's going to cost each household $10, $100, whatever. If you ask a question there, it might help us, if we're going to go down the road of a bond, and that's a big if, how much people would feel comfortable paying to get the roads done faster or what have you.
I want to interrupt you for 1 second.
Yep.
And I want to ask the commission how we're handling these suggestions. So he's going to make some suggestions. There might be suggestions from others. Do you want us, should we vote on these suggestions and say, yes, we agree? Or what's the best way to deal with this?
I think we should go through question by question, and any commissioner who has comments on that question should make them. And then if they're contradictory, then we have to work that out if they're reinforcing each other. But otherwise, we're going to go round and round and round. You know?
Yeah, I think we should, I agree. I think we should inventory the questions in order. And then if there's conflicts, resolve the conflicts, and then the final inventory then goes back for final recommendations to the commission.
Sorry, real quick. So is the objective that we will workshop this right now, we will get the final language that we like, and we will hopefully approve it tonight? Is that the goal here, or is the goal?
I don't think it'll be approvable tonight because we've got resident comment, because the comments about the dollar bill, they weren't the only ones from Ms. Barry. She had a couple of others as well. So I think he's got points. You've probably got some other points. This is the constructive plan, do, check, act loop right now. It's not the final step.
Okay, I'm going to take back control of the meeting. So you asked if we're going to workshop this.
Yes.
You two suggested, in effect, that we're going to workshop it. How many questions are there?
27.
There's 27 questions. It's 8:15. We have a public hearing on 2 special assessments, and we have the multimodal update and a closed session.
So, Mayor,
I think that we could begin to workshop it. I'm just going to throw this out as an option, that we could begin to workshop it, and let's see how far we get in half an hour. If we've only gotten through 3 questions in a half an hour, it's going to take us all night, and we probably shouldn't. Is that something that those who have, is that something you, Commissioner Haig?
I appreciate it, but I think it would be more constructive if we actually gave written feedback like we did last time, so that it can be consolidated, because I don't think half an hour is going to get us very far. We'll just end up frustrated. So I think what we did last time, which was attached in here, will be the most efficient method for all of us and for the staff, rather than trying to negotiate in public.
I understand what you're saying. So those who have Would you
I'm fine
like
with
to
that, yeah.
respond to that?
I don't know that everybody has comments about all 28 questions, but
Well, I know you've looked at it carefully. How many questions do you think you have questions?
I had one more that I was going to cover, one more. So, I mean,
I think this is quite close. I don't know that we're going to get it done in 30 minutes, but I think we could get it done tonight. And if there were a lot of edits, I would absolutely agree with Commissioner Haig that, like, no, we should take this offline. It seems possible to me, though, that we can just bang this out right now and not have to do, because if it comes back to us again and then it's like, oh, well, this still isn't quite what I want.
How many did you have concerns about, more or less?
3 or 4?
And you?
I don't know, 4 or 5.
You and Commissioner Host?
0.
And they might be overlapping, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just say, let's give it a shot and see what we can do. You were in the middle of talking about
8.
Let's go through them.
that's fine, that's fine,
Okay,
that's fine, that's
good.
fine.
So number 1 is please list up to 3 things you like most about the city of Birmingham. Comment? No comment. And I assume that these things will be somehow collated. That if somebody says, I like Poppleton Park, and another person just says, I like parks, and another person says, I don't know, the ice arena, that somehow, like, we're going to get some, not necessarily actionable, but
Statistically driven data.
Oh, all right. Item 2, briefly, what would you like the city to stop doing?
Do you want to read the whole question, or just want to go question
That's
one?
it.
Any questions? Question
That's
two?
the
Any
question.
That's good. Any question on 2? Any
Am I
question on
am I
3?
wrong?
Yeah,
That is the
No, that's the
question.
No.
Just-
What I'm getting at.
So nobody has any beef with that? Okay. Briefly, what would you like the city to start doing? This presumes everybody knows who the city is and what the city.
Still be interesting.
Do we? So if somebody says it confuses the city with the schools frequently, or confuses the city with a utility, do you just disqualify those answers?
I wouldn't say you would totally disqualify it. If it's something about the utilities, it could also point us in the direction of trying to reach out more, strengthening that relationship.
But
Same with the
generally,
schools.
you'd get anomalies, and there'd be a whole list of anomalies that would reflect or refer back to the original question with some analytics.
I mean, they're very interesting questions. You never know what you're going to see.
Never do.
Right, okay.
Which is kind of the beauty, though.
So item 4 is under the heading, so those first 3 questions had no main heading, but now we have a main heading called Your Experiences in Birmingham in the Past Year. The first question under that heading is number 4, do you generally feel safe in Birmingham? Yes, no, don't know.
That was the one where I said I would follow it up with a why.
Why?
So
If no,
why? So that we can find out why. Because I understand below was just trying to capture police, fire, or medical, and there's probably a pretty good chance it might fall into that, but let's find out why.
I wouldn't even say if no. Do
Yeah.
you feel safe? Why do you feel safe?
Or why don't you?
Exactly. Just
Explain
it's
your
a
answer.
text box.
okay.
Just a text box.
Yeah, just a
Okay.
text
That's
box,
it.
exactly. Yep.
Everybody on board with that?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, no beef there. Okay, item 5, police, fire, and emergency medical services, EMS, are some of the core services provided by the city of Birmingham. Please briefly share suggestions or concerns you have about any of these 3 public safety services. Is this the amount of space we're giving for somebody to handwrite an answer when it goes out on paper?
I think for a question like that, it could be expanded, yes.
Do we feel it ought to be expanded a little bit?
A little bit.
Give somebody room to, any of these, really. I mean, all of these that have text
Pretty-
boxes. I think to the extent, like if we're, sometimes if you go into an extra page, then, don't waste the space at the bottom of that page. Allocate it within the document.
Understood.
Historically, on surveys like this, whatever space you provide is filled, and the last half is useless.
Please rate the so number 6 is please rate the transportation infrastructure, and that's in Birmingham on the following attributes. Poor is 1, excellent is 6, and then there's a don't know. And I'll read these just for the public, anybody listening. Current quality of the city's roads. Overall quality of the city's road maintenance. Freedom from traffic congestion. Safety of bicycle/scooter traffic. Safety for pedestrians. Sidewalk conditions. Safety of pedestrian crossing Woodward Avenue. Effectiveness of noise reduction measures on Woodward. Does anybody have?
Yes.
Okay. Fire away.
So I'm fine with the first 6. I think both of the Woodward questions should either be eliminated from the survey because the city does not, control Woodward, or we need an asterisk on Woodward for both of those that says Woodward is a state road controlled by MDOT. And I think that ought to be made very clear. My additional problem with the last question is effectiveness of noise reduction measures on Woodward is what noise reduction measures on Woodward are we talking about? Because we have no formal noise reduction measures on Woodward. So
do we have no formal noise reduction measures?
They're very hard to enforce.
But we're out there. We do patrol.
Well, we have tickets, but what do you mean? A noise reduction measure is like a wall or,
Or an enforceable ordinance
Or,
that
yeah,
says your
so-
car is too loud and you have a ticket for it.
I'm not sure that the Woodward questions are gonna, we already know everybody's unhappy. We're gonna get a slew of pours without people understanding that we don't control it. We're already trying to take action, and I think we're better off using the space someplace else than having both of those questions.
In other words, you would not even ask the questions about
I
Woodward.
I would say eliminate both of them because this is not what the city controls, and this question is about what the city does.
Do any other commissioners have an opinion about the questions about Woodward Avenue?
I agree with Commissioner Long's points. I think in particular, I would strike the effectiveness of noise reduction measures. We don't control it. We don't have any noise reduction measures, and we know that everybody's upset about it. I'm upset about it. So, safety of pedestrian crossing. I feel like everybody I talk to who crosses Woodward is not happy with it. We could leave it in there just to sort of get some data to say, hey, look, we did a survey, and it is in fact the case that everybody's unhappy with the pedestrian safety crossing Woodward. But I certainly want the last one struck. I'm happy to strike the other one because we don't want to imply that this is something that we have a lot of control over. We don't.
We have to point out that it's a state road, though, if we kept it.
Commissioner Host, your body language speaks volumes. I'm not sure what.
This reminds me of when Lori Tennant offered the beautiful photographs along the Rouge River. There were 2 commissioners that were very upset that the Arts Board was doing this because it was going to disturb their serenity of walking down the path. Now, I've gone on record and said, we are here as a policy board to micromanage a professional survey, I think is going way too far.
Well, I guess my question for the professional survey writer would be, Will, if you're listening, were you aware that the city has absolutely no control over Woodward Avenue and the crossings, and that our ability to mitigate the noise on Woodward Avenue is next to zero.
Yes, I'm well aware of that. It is a community experience survey, so sometimes knowing the experiences and the concerns of the residents, even if you don't directly control them, are useful things as you're having discussions with others, because you can always influence even if you can't directly control. However, if we take them off the survey, that's fine. It's not anything that causes me to lose sleep.
What about the idea that we indicate with a little asterisk or italics that, these are things we don't control? I
don't think that would be terribly useful. You're doing a sample of residents. If it's an educational effort, using the survey itself as an educational tool directly, I don't think is a very effective communication tool. You'd use your other channels of communication to clarify those particular points.
Okay, thank you.
But having said that, it doesn't hurt anything to have it out there.
Well, I disagree, but I.
Yes, so do I.
Yes, go ahead.
I disagree because it's a Birmingham resident study. It's a study that's given by Birmingham, and we're asking the residents to let us know the safety of, in their opinion, the safety of pedestrian crossing on Woodward Avenue, poor to excellent, and we have no control over that. So when I fill out this survey and I hit poor for noise traffic, because I agree, I'm not happy with the noise traffic either, I'm going to talk to people at the next party and say, I filled out the survey and Birmingham does a poor job of mitigating what have you. It promulgates the thought process that we have some control over it.
And then in 4 months, I said that, we all said that, and they didn't do anything about it.
They didn't do anything about it. So if this is a Birmingham and Oakland County and state combined questionnaire, then I would feel differently. But the danger that you have is asking a Birmingham resident about something that we don't have any control over.
So
Then take it off.
So
Yeah.
now we have three, so you want to see it gone, is that right? I want to make sure I understand what each of you want.
I want to be very clear. I'm not happy about it, but if we're going to ask the Birmingham residents what they want us, the commission or the city of Birmingham to do about things, let's ask them about things that we can actually do stuff about.
Right.
Wait, so you would remove the questions?
I would remove the questions.
You would remove both questions. You were like, I'm not crazy
Definitely the
about
last one. I'm happy to remove the other one, too.
Okay, and so now, and you're like, leave.
No comment.
Okay, no comment, that's an abstention. So it's,
I see where it's coming from. I got no problem removing them. I kind of feel the same way. There was lots of discussion about this, but
now, let me ask a
Yeah.
question. If you're just average Joe, and you get this survey, it's asking you about all the stuff in Birmingham, and you live along Woodward Avenue, and it drives you nuts every summer.
Every day.
And these guys didn't even ask about Woodward.
That's what I'd ask. I think Commissioner
What do you say
Long's point is the right way. Qualify with 2 sentences briefly of, so you know as you answer this question, it's not a road we control, it's managed by MDOT. Move on with the questions and ask the questions. If you don't ask the questions, they're going to come back and say, are they a bunch of idiots and not paying attention?
unless we preface the whole thing with the survey specifically for items within the city that we can influence and not ones that we can't.
In which case we'd have to say, these are the ones we can't. Or you're going to
So we're damned
infer.
if we do and we're damned if we don't, really.
Well,
I like Commissioner Long's solution.
I don't mind it.
Just put in some asterisks that says,
Woodward is a state road controlled by MDOT.
Yeah, and they can still express their displeasure with.
And we also
All
don't
right.
appear tone
And
I'm happy with that.
okay.
You could have a follow-up question, yeah, that's fine. You could have a follow-up question that says, would you be willing to write, would you really write to the state of Michigan to complain, or MDOT to complain?
All right.
7.
Half an hour.
Number 7 is, do you live on one of Birmingham's improved roads or on an unimproved road? Capesville usually, okay, and I don't know why we're asking this. That would be my reaction to that question. We know who lives on unimproved and improved roads. We don't have to ask them if they live on one. I mean.
No, I think the goal there was education, though, because I'll be honest, when I bought my house, I didn't know it was an unimproved street. Now I'm very, very educated on it, but I didn't know the difference.
I don't think the point of this survey is to educate people. Does anybody else have a comment on that specific question?
I thought it only existed so that you could look at the answer in combination for the answer to 8.
I agree.
Yeah.
But we also, I mean,
Okay.
we'll know the address, but I think, to Commissioner Haig's point, we have a don't know box, and I would be interested in how many people check the don't know box.
All right, so leave it.
All right, so typically, number 8 is typically Michigan local governments use general tax dollars to pay for the maintenance of roads. Updating roads from unimproved to improved requires an additional funding source. Past improvements in the city of Birmingham were funded by special assessments paid only by residents of the improved streets. Future improvements could be funded similarly or through a tax, a millage or bond sale, where all residents, including those who have already paid special assessments for their own road improvements, cover the costs of all the remaining unimproved roads to be improved. Currently, about 30% of Birmingham roads are unimproved. How would you like the city to fund future improvements to these roads? And the 4 answers are: continue the special assessment approach paid by residents on unimproved roads on a street-by-street basis, or ask voters to pass either a citywide millage or the approval of a bond sale to pay for all remaining unimproved roads. The third is leave unimproved roads as they are, and the 4th is don't know.
Point of clarification first.
Yes.
Language. Past improvements of the city of Birmingham were funded by special assessments paid only by residents of the improved streets. Shouldn't it be unimproved streets? If it's improved street, we don't.
Street being improved, yes.
The street to be improved, yeah.
And also, it's not only by, it's partially by or primarily by. It's not only by, so that's incorrect.
So we need those 2 corrections?
Well, it also suggests that it implies that we are out to improve every unimproved street in town.
Which is why there's a choice that says leave them as they are.
Yeah, but what if you feel that way about some of them, but not other ones? I mean, this isn't an easy way, there's no easy way to word this
We
question.
do have unimproved major streets still, for instance, so there's
Well, and we have-
granularity, but we want to avoid getting too granular with this sort of thing.
Right.
The idea here is to get directions. It's like a temperature gauge. The temperature gauge in a car is not an exact gauge. It tells you, is it overheating, is it direct, cold, is it whatever. It gives you a guideline. The way we talked about this was, we're not going to get exact answers for the majority, but we're going to get a sense of where we could perhaps do deep dives into much more granular data collection. Because some areas, it may be, for instance, do you feel safe in Birmingham? If 90% come back and say yes, do you need to deep dive it? If 90% come back and say no, you've got to deep dive it. But if 90% say continue the special assessment approach paid by residents on unimproved streets, don't deep dive it. Leave it alone. Move on. It's direction finding for where the issues lie in people's
I get
minds.
it. Do you guys understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
I would like to suggest that I think this is way too many words, and it sort of directs people towards answers.
This was the short version. We tried really hard to condense it.
So, in the second paragraph, if you said future improvements could be funded similarly, if you took the word where all residents and you put all in bold or all caps, I think you can eliminate the parens. All residents is all residents. I don't think you need to introduce including those who have already paid, because that is leading the witness, that is a value judgment, it's either, the question is all.
It's also, it's redundant because
Right.
it's offered in the answers.
Right, so I think if you just said all, and you could get rid of the parens, that makes it much cleaner.
Or maybe just some linguistics-wise, instead of saying where every resident, because we use the word all later in the same sentence anyway. So just from an English grammar standpoint, that's
Every
poor grammar.
resident,
Covers.
then you need to say like
Covers the cost of all
helps
the
to
remaining
cover the
unimproved
cost.
roads.
Helps to cover, yes.
Yeah.
And my preference would be to remove the words all the remaining. So it just says cover the costs of unimproved roads to be improved, not all of them, whatever we choose to.
Covers the cost of improving unimproved roads?
Right, something like that, yeah. Just don't imply that we're going to do them all.
And then I think Mayor Pro Tem Long had said we should add one more box or some choices about how much more would you pay?
Well, I just think that if, as Commissioner Haig said, if people say, yes, you should ask voters to pass a millage and it's 80%, okay, how much more would you be willing to pay on because if we do a millage, you're going to be paying more. How much more would you be willing to pay? Is it $10? Is it $100? Is it zero? If they say you want to do a bond, but they're willing to pay zero, I guess we'd like to know that too. I just think you can get some more information in here so that if we get 90% that says they want us to do a millage, then great. Then how much are you willing to pay?
Yeah, and just for everybody's background, on question 26, we actually had a lot of discussion about exactly that type of metric of how much to pay. It's related to a different question.
I saw that,
There was a lot of discussion about the dollar amounts there. And I think Ms. Barrett in her email also talked about give some kind of numerical quantifier so there's a sense of scale. I got no problem with that either. None.
So could we mirror number 26?
I don't know if the numbers
I don't
would
think
be
my
quite
beef with
enough.
26 is that it's monthly.
Right.
People don't think of their taxes in monthly. The other is taxes, how much you pay is based on the value of your home. So you've got to find a way to word it that takes into account, first, that it's annual, and second, that it's per $100,000 of value.
Because not everybody can say, I'd pay $100 more. There's no way for us to bill that.
Right.
And we have to take into account that people don't necessarily understand that they're taxed on half the value of their home, right?
I don't know. I feel like, to Commissioner Haig's point, I feel like the dollar ranges will give you a temperature check here. Over $100 means I'll pay anything, just make this problem stop, right? And zero means nothing. I'm not willing to pay a dime, right? In the middle, yeah, it's grayer. We're not going to get granularity, but I think trying to explain how to calculate your taxable value in the middle of a survey, people are just going to hang up the phone.
So what you're suggesting is a couple boxes, nothing, $100, around 100, or maybe
I mean,
break it down by month or by year, but it could be something like, if we, to your point of taxes an annual basis, would you be prepared to pay nothing, $500 a year more, $1,500 a year more? You know, pick numbers.
Right.
Ranges of numbers, and that's.
You guys are writing the survey, you pick the
for that.
numbers.
Okay.
We'll approve it next time.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
9.
So now we're on 9. Please rate the adequacy of parking in Birmingham and rate it on the following attributes: availability of on-street metered parking, availability of residential street parking near my home, availability of parking garage parking. So we're talking about availability and adequacy, not cost, not, I don't know, what else? Okay, so any beef with that question? You guys thought that was important? Okay. How can transportation/parking infrastructure be improved? That's an open-ended text box. No.
Nope.
Everybody's okay with that? Yep. Rate the utility services, water, garbage, etc., that you use. Drinking water reliability, waste service, trash collection, recycling, yard waste collection, effectiveness of storm sewers. Everybody okay with that? I mean, do we have an issue with drinking water reliability? Our drinking water is, every year we test it. I've never seen, I don't think we've even, except when there's a water main break, have a boil water advisory or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know what data you're going to get out of drinking water reliability.
What are we trying to?
Something else there, yeah.
So the take that I took on that from the conversation we had was there's discussion about costs. I mean, again, Ms. Barrett sort of, I think she did, or someone brought up something about the cost of our water rates and what have you. And are we satisfied with what we get? It was trying to come up with a very concise question of, do you believe in the quality of what we receive? I mean, the quality of the water, the pressure, etc. It was just, how do we come up with a concise way of asking that to see what people...
I still don't understand what you're asking.
Yeah, because reliability doesn't get to that. And if you say drinking water by itself and somebody says poor, does that mean it's too much or I got no pressure in my house? So I'm not sure what actionable data comes out of a single question like that.
Now, I could see, going off of some of the stuff that we were talking about earlier, recycling, would you be interested in food waste, either a communal, what do you call it when you? Composting, or would you do it in your own yard?
About that.
Yeah, that's
right. But this could tell us they're really interested in it, or it might tell us they don't really care. I don't know. That's just one.
Maybe you could replace the water reliability with internet. I don't know. I mean, like, I've always thought of drinking water is amazing. So I don't know. But I think I'm trying to think of utilities for where you have where I would have complaints, and mine is the internet. It's the horrible options, but that's just me.
We also can't control that.
Yeah.
With the quality of what we get, we get all the service, but they don't tell us we're going to get a good service.
I still don't get what we're
I think that question 11 could,
Will, if you want to jump in here at any time.
Yeah, because I don't know what effectiveness of storm sewers means either. That 11 seems really, the waste service, compared to other communities, we're great. But the other two questions, maybe, I don't know, 11 needs work, and maybe, we also haven't asked anywhere about, are you willing to pay more for infrastructure, for replacements? What do you think about, the age of our, Birmingham's water and sewer pipes in some areas of the city are very old. Do you feel that your service is good, or your sewers? Do you have drainage problems? That's what effectiveness of storm sewers means. And would you be willing to pay more, just like with the roads question, because we didn't do that for water and sewer? Would you be willing to pay more to replace them at a more rapid pace?
Except their answer will be, we're already paying more.
We had discussion about the storm sewer one, and it was trying to approach that subject very, very carefully. So there was a desire from several parties to have something on there, and there was a desire from several of the rest of us to make sure it was extremely carefully constructed.
Okay, I'm not fond of number 11. Is anybody going to propose eliminating it?
I wouldn't have a problem eliminating it.
If you're trying
Are we that confident about our people's satisfaction with trash collection? That feels like something that could be.
I've never heard a complaint about trash collection.
Usually we get and they love how we're the only community where they come and grind up your branches for free. People love that.
We have bulky item pickup. We have.
Yeah. We have.
I wasn't complaining. I was just saying it seemed plausible.
And
yeah, I'm happy to. I don't know, maybe a fill in the blank. Like, I know that there are people that have problems with, like, the storm grate in front of their house.
Yeah, it could be
getting
an open-ended
clogged up
question.
and the street starts to flood. Is there, what?
Clear it yourself. It's 15 seconds.
Okay, hold on.
I'm just saying.
I need to control this because we're at a half an hour now, and we need to move along.
Sure.
You made a suggestion that I think might be good. I think that this just be an open-ended question, like some of the others. Do you have any comments, or what do you like, or is there anything that
on any utilities,
on any
water, garbage, etc.
Sewer, but not gas, electric, and cable?
Let them say it's an open box. They can say whatever they want. We're not making any promises, but we'll put water and garbage in there because we have some control.
I think the committee is going to meet again, right?
Yes.
Suffice it to say that we have concerns about this question and would like you to address our concerns somehow in the next next iteration. Number 12, how frequently do you use the parks and recreation facilities and programs? Daily, weekly, monthly, few times per year? Never. Nobody have a problem with that? Please rate Birmingham's parks and rec facilities and programs on the following attributes. Facilities that meet your needs. Park cleanliness. Does anybody have an issue with any of these?
You could just really go like 13, any questions, 14, any questions. Let's
Well,
just do that.
I'm
Just
trying,
I
there
know.
are people watching.
But it's
tonight.
it's on the agenda.
Number 14 is community events. Rate community events. Range and variety events that appeal to me and my household. No issues. Does anybody have an issue with number 15? Briefly share suggestions, or concerns about events, parks, recreation. How have you contacted, anybody have anything about contacts with city officials, elected officials, contact with city employees? Those are 16, 17, 18, 19.
For 16, I would add a text box and say, if so, what was the topic you contacted about?
Elaborate.
We kind of try and did that with 20 to combine them to avoid creating too many.
Okay.
So it covers both of them there. Because we did start with that, we took it out, we put it back and took
That's
it out.
fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Really?
Good
It's
to know.
not what you just said, though. You said, what about? Why did you contact the city?
Right.
20 is suggestions or concerns you have about employees and elected officials. It's
a little bit different.
Way different.
We can change the description of it, but that was a free-form box to cover elected and staff. Let's get to it with 20 and look at it, but the idea was to try and just have a box to make it easy.
Yeah, but 16, you would be saying, I contacted you because, my neighbor is noisy, or a tree fell down, or,
Could be for anything.
Right, but that's not covered in 20.
Then change the text.
Okay?
Of 20.
Put that in your,
Okay. Committee, change the text.
How about for 20 could be, for any of your answers to 16 through 19, briefly share suggestions or concerns.
Or anything.
Just loop them in.
Yeah.
Integrate it all.
Just integrate them all into that question. And then you have a box.
Done.
21 is, does anybody have questions about that?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. What?
I think that is a very specific set of questions, and I think that don't know should be changed to not applicable or not used. Because don't know doesn't tell me anything.
Agreement?
Yep.
I'd be also concerned if people don't know that they contacted.
Do you see yourself remaining in Birmingham, meaning living, continuing to live? Do you?
Unfortunately not. But I have for 31 years and absolutely loved it.
So this is just to gauge whether people are long-timers committed. And they'll be cross. Okay. Number 23, overall experience satisfaction with the city of Birmingham. Okay. Anybody have any with the 24, based on your answers overall? Which single improvement would have the biggest benefit to you? Okay. Then we have the tax dollar.
And I think the tax dollar is kind of fine the way it is. That's
We need
fair.
to just check the numbers.
Yes, but.
Double check.
But the whole about who collects the school's money, that's way in the weeds for the average resident.
I mean, maybe instead of 4 blocks, there's 5 blocks.
But her
state
point
school or
was
something,
that some of it's not going to Birmingham Public Schools. It's
Yeah.
going to the state for schools, and it may or may not come back to Birmingham. So you could change it to just schools.
Right.
Boom.
And that would cover it, and would, right?
Yep.
Okay, so number 25, we're moving right along here, and we hope to be done by 9. Everybody can see, as you consider city's focus in the coming year, which 5 services or programs, other than core services, are the biggest priorities for the people living in your household? Pick up to 5.
I have some concerns about that one. First of all, just for order, in the middle column, it went from adults to children 12 and younger, and then teens is in the top of the next column, it seems like you should put them in age rank order. So adults, teens, and then children 12 and younger.
And seniors?
Well, adults, and you could say adults and seniors, I mean. But this is kind of a jumbled list, perhaps intentionally. It's got capital projects, it's got services, and it's got policies, and I don't know whether they should be maybe split into two different questions, because some of them are like sidewalk, tree lighting, tree maintenance, yard waste. Those are like specific things that we spend money on. Communications with residents and activities are entirely different class of choice. Like I said, it mixes capital project services and policies. I think that building inspection and permitting could be removed altogether. That seems, like not anything that anybody's ever going to pick as a top 5. That's a very specific activity for a home builder or somebody's bringing a store in, but it just seems, I'm not sure what's actionable is going to come out of this, the way it's currently constructed.
Other comments on this? I agree that it's a somewhat mixed bag. Does anybody want to address from the committee, Will, the mixed bag nature of this question?
I could, if I may.
Sure.
Yep. Okay. So this is a question that we spent a considerable amount of time on, and it has, I would say, flip-flopped between the 2 iterations that Commissioner Long mentioned, between being more grouped together and more of like a broad array of topics. And Will is on, and he can kind of like support this. But what we found is when we started to split it into services or capital projects, what was happening is we'd have a question about services, and then a person could only pick up to 2. And then you'd have a question about recreation programs in the museum, and then it was like, well, you could pick up to 3 from that grouping. And then a capital project, you could pick only 1. So by putting them together, it kind of actually, I guess, allowed more freedom in response. I wouldn't say that I am married to it being a certain way, or Will is married to being a certain way, but it is something that had a lot of conversation around it and ended up in one more diverse question to give more people more options of how they responded.
May I?
Yes, please.
So, for example, modernizing municipal facilities. What are we going to learn from that? Because a municipal facility means what to a resident? Does it mean baseball fields at Kenning Park? Does it mean City Hall? Does it mean the ice arena? Does it mean, sidewalks and streets to somebody? I'm not sure, again, what are we going to learn from this?
I think the intent was to get somewhat of a divining rod or direction to go seek more information. Again, heat mappy type.
Okay, but some of these are really specific, and you understand what the Birmingham Museum is.
Right.
We understand what bicycle. Her point is that one item is not clear enough.
Right, because, Birmingham Museum
let's-
gets its own point.
Can we beef up the modernizing municipal facilities so that it's clear? Because I can say, I don't even know what you mean.
Yeah, so the Birmingham Museum gets a disproportionate benefit, but what about City Hall? What about a police station? What do we mean by municipal facilities?
Yes, in an earlier draft of the survey, we had individual categories for the police station, for City Hall, and other facilities, but then we kind of, as a group, came around to the idea that those required a lot of context also. So in an effort to not have to contextualize every item maybe it became too broad.
Well, if you change facilities to buildings,
Yeah.
then we know you mean buildings, and people can say yay or nay,
Okay,
but
okay.
if that's what your intent was.
It was.
Is that the kind of question, I feel like sometimes this is useful because I don't know anything about making surveys, but is this the kind of thing where like with the police station, like we know we need to do work there, right? I don't think any of us feel like this is something that's optional. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what we're trying to get from here. I guess is the question just, if we floated a bond to do this, would you pay for it, or do we have to try to cobble together the money from somewhere else? Is that mostly what we're trying to
Well, that's what 26 gets to.
figure out?
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 25 and 26, right, are sort of inextricably linked. But I'm just trying to figure out, because some of these things, like we said, the amount we spend on, community activities or attracting and supporting local businesses compared to how much it's going to cost to build a new city hall. Like, I feel like those numbers are going to be very disproportionate, and it's going to be, and people aren't going to maybe understand as much when, this is why, because I had thought about the below-grade infrastructure stuff, and part of me was like, well, we got to do it. Like, it's not like, well, we just won't fix the water mains. So I'm trying to figure out how to make this as useful as possible.
How about we just make it clear that we believe this needs a little work?
Yeah, and I agree. I agree, probably striking building inspection and permitting. I would probably just take that off completely. I might take off attracting and supporting local businesses. I don't know exactly what mechanisms we use to do that, if we have any.
BSD.
Yeah,
But that's a separate tax base.
Yeah, but the residents don't pay for that in the first place. So,
right.
I mean, it might be interesting. It might be interesting to know.
Okay, they're going to work on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great.
Got it?
The rest, anybody got any with the demographic stuff?
Just for the 26, I would do yearly rather than
Yearly,
monthly.
yes, yearly.
Yep.
And maybe bump those numbers.
Whatever the numbers are, that's fine.
For question 28, how long have you been living in this community? Is that 28?
There's no number on that.
Oh, there's no number on it. Well,
Oh, right.
for what, okay. So 1 to 5, 6 to 10, and then it should be 11 plus. You shouldn't duplicate 10, yeah.
Okay.
That was my only comment.
2 minutes to spare.
Bless you all. Okay, thank you. No votes necessary. We have, all right, now we're moving on to new business. A public hearing for the confirmation of the role for the 2026 Cape Seal program. Hi, Ryan. Ryan, right? We have a public hearing. I am going to open the public hearing and hear from city staff.
All right, good evening. Ryan Katz, Deputy Treasurer for City of Birmingham. Before you is Special Assessment District Roll Number 917, 2026 Cape Seal. At the previous meeting, it was discovered that 10 parcels at 450 Oak Ave were miscalculated based on the footage of each unit. That has been corrected to allocate the same total cost for 450 Oak Avenue, to allocate the same total cost equally among the 10 units. Tonight, we recommend the adoption of the resolution confirming Special Assessment District Roll Number 917, 2026 Cape Seal program defraying the cost over a 5-year period at an interest rate of 7.75%. The hearing of necessity was approved on February 23rd, and notices were sent out as shown in the report. Thank you.
Thank you. To the city attorney, I'd like the most expeditious way to get this resolution or motion made. Several of our commissioners have experience with this. Is there any way to do it without?
You haven't asked for public
Okay, public comment, sorry. Is there anybody here who would like to comment on this matter? Yes, sir, please.
Hi there, I'm John LaPlanche, and I'm at 450 Oak Avenue. First off, I want to compliment the follow-up that was done to temporarily patch in some of the deep crevices and holes between the cemetery and Old Woodward on Oak. Better, but still feels like a stagecoach in a John Wayne movie. It's still, very temporary. Last time I was here, there was discussion about the Cape ceiling perhaps in June. I don't know if that's still the time frame that was thought about.
The time frame is this year. I can't guarantee it's June. Melissa Coda, are you listening in?
She is.
I see her there.
Ask her to unmute.
We don't have the contract on tonight, do we?
Not for Cape Seal in general.
Or did we already do the contract?
No.
We made the motion, but we have not executed it until this is done, and then you will sign it this evening with the clerk.
So we have a contract about to be executed. Timing.
Melissa Coda's on now.
Oh, Melissa, timing of the Cape ceiling on Oak specifically.
After the contract's approved, hopefully this evening will be signed. We'll schedule a pre-construction meeting with the contractor. At that time, we'll get their construction schedule. If I had to estimate offhand, I would assume around May time, but we'll have final details after the pre-construction meeting with the contractor.
May time is good.
Sounds real good. Now, specific to that patch between Woodward, Old Woodward that is, and the cemetery, I thought there was going to be a consideration of a phase 2, maybe a year or two later after the Cape ceiling, where a more permanent consideration would be made, perhaps curbs for that short span. Because right now, and what I think will happen within a year, those edges are kind of slanted downward, and what happens is with truck volume and heavy traffic, it just crumbles like a cookie. And it seems like the curbs, as you can see in front of the cemetery, does a nice job of holding the material in. And whether it's asphalt or concrete, I think that would be more of a permanent solution.
So I'm going to take that as a question.
Correct.
I think that several, if not many, commissioners share your concern about the permanence of the Cape ceiling that we are about to undertake. But I can say that there has been no action on a second phase, nor is that currently part of our capital improvements plan for the next 5 years. That isn't to say that it couldn't change, and I will tell you that there are various ways that could change. One would be if the property owners on that stretch of road petitioned the city to improve it. And that's a process that you can do. I've done it a couple times. He's done it at least once. Okay. You just got to get half of the residents. Now, given 51%, given that some of that is city-owned, is any of that city-owned? A little tiny bit.
I'm not sure
Little tiny
about
bit.
that section.
Yeah. So it's mostly the property owners along there getting their consent, and you can go to the city clerk or the city engineer
Engineering department.
for the paperwork that you need. It's just a petition, and circulate the petition.
All right, good. And then the third thing is some consideration perhaps of the truck volume through there, if that could be diverted differently, maybe to Quarton, or something to do with weight limits and things of that nature. We have some massive trucks going through there.
Would you like to address? That is not a topic that has been brought to us. We, again, share your
And
concern?
point of order, it's not part of the public hearing for the confirmation of the roll.
It's not part of the public hearing for the confirmation of the roll. Does that mean we can't discuss it?
Technically, the purpose of this hearing is to just talk about the roll, confirm its accuracy, and move on.
Okay. Are we going to get in trouble if we answer this gentleman's
You're
question?
not going to get in trouble, but you're setting a precedent.
Okay.
Which means you're going to get in trouble.
I think somebody might bring that up as a topic we should discuss in the future.
Okay, because otherwise it could be problematic down the road.
Understood.
All right, thanks
Understood.
for your time.
And
Okay.
thank you.
All right,
Thank you
you're
very much. Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this from the public, either in the room or online? If you're online, use the raise your hand function. Okay, this public hearing, I'm going to close it at 9:05 p.m. And now, if there's questions or comments from the commission.
Can I make a motion?
Do you really want to do that? Is that something you want to do? We can assign it to someone else.
I really enjoy these.
You do? Is there
Can I
anyone else who would like to make this motion besides Commissioner Long? Mayor Pro Tem Long?
If
Go
you
ahead.
want it, you can have it, but I'd be happy to.
There's another one following that you can have.
All right, thank you.
Fair enough. Whereas notice was given pursuant to Section 94-7 of the City Code to each owner or party in interest of the property and lots to be assessed by first-class mail and publication in a newspaper generally circulated in the city, and whereas the City Commission has conducted a public hearing and determined it is necessary to protect.
Excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem, you
Yes.
have the wrong motion.
I do?
Please look at page 133 of the packet, 8A. Suggested commission action.
Is it okay from the,
Oh, I'm reading the one for the Cape Seal.
Yeah, but you stopped, you started a couple sentences.
Yeah, you missed the first
You
word.
missed the first two
line.
sentences.
Oh, then it's not in here. I read it verbatim. Okay, I'll pivot. Hold on a second.
Printed package.
Let's see. Can I read the one that's on the agenda item? Is that?
On page.
Yeah, because it doesn't have it doesn't,
Page 133.
133.
133. Here you go. Let me just see. Yeah, you're right. The other one didn't have it. Okay, all right. This is the one that says start with an assessment roll 917?
Yes.
Okay. I'll strike the other one and I'll start again. I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution confirming special assessment roll 917 as follows. Whereas the special assessment roll designated roll number 917 has heretofore been prepared for collection. Whereas the notice was given pursuant to Section 94-7 of the City Code to each owner or party in interest of the property to be assessed, and whereas the Commission has deemed it practicable to cause payment of the cost thereof to be made at the time of construction, and whereas the Commission Resolution 02-035-26 provided it would meet this 23rd day of March 2026 for the sole purpose of reviewing the assessment roll, and whereas at said hearing held this March 23rd, 2026, all those property owners or their representatives present have been given an opportunity to be heard specifically concerning costs appearing in said special assessment roll. Now therefore be it resolved that the special assessment roll number 917 be in all things ratified and confirmed, and the city clerk be and is hereby instructed to endorse said roll, showing the date of confirmation thereof, and to certify said assessment roll to the city treasurer for collection at or near the time of construction of the improvement. Be it further resolved that the special assessment shall be payable in 5 payments as provided in section 94-10 of the code of the city of Birmingham, with its annual interest rate of 7 3/4%, paren 7.75% on all unpaid installments. And then the Sidwell number, street address, and Cape Seal assessment for each of the properties is located on in section 8A on page 134, 135, 136, and 137 of tonight's agenda.
second? Any comment on the motion from the commission? Any comment on the motion from the public? If you're online, raise your hand. Seeing none, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Kolb?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Hay?
Yes.
Thank you. We now move to item B, a public hearing for the confirmation of the roll Bird Phase 1B. It is 9:10. The public hearing has been opened. Brian?
Good evening again. Brian Katz, Deputy Treasurer. Tonight, we recommend the adoption of the resolution before you confirming Special Assessment District Roll Number 918, Bird Avenue Phase 1B, water laterals, defraying the cost over a 5-year period at an interest rate of 7.75%. The hearing of necessity was approved on March 9th. The notices were sent out as shown in the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments from the public? Comments, questions from the public? This is a public hearing. Anyone in the room or online? If you're online, use the raise your hand function. Seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing at 9:11. That was a fast one. 1 minute. Questions, comments from the commission? None. Okay. Who's going to read this one?
Mayor Baller, I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution confirming Special Assessment Roll 918 as follows. Where Special Assessment Roll designated Roll number 918 has heretofore prepared for collection, and whereas notice was given pursuant to Section 94-7 of the City Code to each owner and party in interest of the property to be assessed, and whereas the Commission has deemed it practicable to cause payment of the cost thereof to be made after the time of construction, and whereas Commission Resolution 03-051-26 provided it would meet this 23rd day of March 2026 for the sole purpose of reviewing the assessment roll, and whereas at said hearing this March 23rd, 2026, all those property owners or their representatives present have been given an opportunity to be heard, specifically concerning costs appearing in said special assessment roll. Now therefore be it resolved that special assessment roll number 918 be in all things ratified and confirmed, and that the city clerk be and is hereby instructed to endorse said roll showing the date of confirmation thereof, and to certify said assessment roll to the city treasurer for collection at or near the time of the construction of the improvement. And be it further resolved that the special assessment shall be payable in 5 payments provided in Section 94-10 of the City Code of Birmingham, with an annual interest rate of 7.75%, paren 7.75%, on all unpaid installments. The Sidwell number, street addresses, estimated water SAD costs, and estimated sewer SAD costs can be found in tonight's agenda, Section 8B, pages 190 and 191 of tonight's agenda.
Second.
Comments on the motion from the public? Online? In the room? Seeing none. Comments by the commission? Seeing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Kolb?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Hay?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. We move to item E, an ordinance to amend chapters 82 and 110 of the Birmingham Code of Ordinances to move and update the enabling language for the multimodal transportation.
Wait a second. I think we're.
You are.
Yeah.
I am?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, do the
You
bird.
gotta do
Oh, sorry. Why didn't you stop me?
C.
Okay, that's right. And then we have the,
I know,
wow,
mine are too.
okay, there's too much bird stuff going on.
A lot of bird stuff.
That's fine with it.
Well,
Lot of bird
C is the
stuff.
public
Right,
hearing.
so I'm sorry, we're on item C.
Oh, you're right.
It's a public hearing for resolution to approve a special land use permit amendment and final site plan and design review for 600 North Old Woodward Suites 101 and 203 Old World Pizzeria. Is there
251.
something wrong?
Oh, just,
Am I?
our packet's out of order.
The packet's printed where, like,
The sections are in different places, but the page numbers actually go in the correct numbering order, but section C comes after section D, section B.
that's why I was thrown off when I read the first
And
one, yeah.
When I read it, I just read each one, but I didn't look at the agenda for the sequence of it. So I just read them as items.
I'm going to go in order since I already read that.
We're going to tell confusion.
No, you're fine, you're fine. Yeah. No, you're fine, we're just saying why we're all
We just have
in
to
order.
find the right page.
I was confused too, for a different reason, but whatever. All right, so this is about a SLUP for a new, and this is, what is the name of the business that's there now or was there now?
So,
Cafe Succo.
Cafe Succo is like a juice
Okay,
shop.
so this is taking the place of the Cafe Succo. This is a
Yeah.
public hearing. We're going to open the public hearing at 9:15.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Leah Blazinski, city planner here at the city of Birmingham. And correct, the item before you tonight is for a public hearing for 600 North Old Woodward, Suites 101 and 203, for a new pizza restaurant called Old World Pizzeria. They've submitted a special land use permit, final site plan and design review application, and as was stated, this would be taking the place of the what formerly was the location of the Cafe Succo in the north end of downtown Birmingham. And so it's important to note that the reason that this is a special land use permit before you tonight is because this is in the O2 zoning district. And in the O2 zoning district, our ordinance requires that a food and drink establishment is a special land use permit. And so just like with Cafe Succo, they will not be serving alcohol. It's not a bistro. It's straight, takeout pizza. They do have a small amount of seating inside the restaurant for, I think, 8 people could eat in, but primarily it's a takeout restaurant, and there is no serving of alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption. And there are also no outdoor seats proposed at this time. There is a outdoor seating area exterior to this portion of the building that's actually communal to the whole building, to all tenants and users of the building, and so that's not a part of this proposal tonight, and they're not proposing to change anything about that. And they also are not, while there's some very nice images in the presentation in the package that show signage, they have not proposed any signage as a part of this application. That was just an example from their other location. They will, of course, have to apply for signage through the planning department through administrative approval. And that's basically it. The planning board on January 28th, 2026 moved to recommend approval to the city commission of the special land use permit final site plan and design review application. So we are also recommending approval tonight. I can answer any questions that you have, and then we also do have the owner here tonight as well.
Okay, as this is a public hearing, if there is anyone in the public who wants to comment, we will hear from you at this point if you would like to come up.
Hey everybody, I'm Cyrus Garmo. I'm the owner of this project coming to Birmingham. If you have any questions, it's pretty straightforward. Pizzeria. We try to ferment our dough 72 hours and non-alcoholic beverages, and kind of keep it family friendly, walkable community. People can come in, grab slices, and have good pizza.
Last call for public comment online. Use the raise your hand function. If you're in the room, stand up, come to the... We're going to close the public hearing at 9:19. Hang loose.
I have one question. Are you going to be delivering pizza from here?
In the beginning, we won't be delivering pizza. If we do, we're thinking of keeping a very small radius. But
I'm worried about the parking in the front of the structure and in the public lot, and having 4 or 5 delivery cars just sitting out there when there's a lot of dining in that area where people look to that public parking to dine.
So it's probably in reference like the third party, like DoorDash and like.
Yeah, any of that.
Yeah, we would probably have one driver for our restaurant internally. We wouldn't be utilizing any third parties.
Okay. That was my only question.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When we talked about this location like a year ago, and there was going to be like a Chicago-based like burger joint that was going to come into town. Does anybody else remember that? It was, and then they were talking about the back of it and using that's down the road. That was not this location? No? Okay.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
I have a few questions. Where is your existing location?
So the first location is in Saginaw, Michigan.
Oh.
That was the original location, and then expanding upon that one.
And do you own the other location, or?
I do not know.
Okay, so you're basically the name and
The name
kind of
and
the
working with the
concept.
same chef from over there.
Okay. And the planning board reviewed this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And can you, in a nutshell, tell us their impression, if they had any concerns whatsoever?
So the planning board didn't specifically have concerns. They didn't see a large difference between the proposed use and the current use as it is now. One thing that was brought up by the public at that time, brought to the attention of the planning board, was that being pizza, potentially it would operate later into the evening than, for instance, a juice coffee shop did, which was confirmed by the owner, but also there are other restaurants in that area also operating late. And so the concerns were just that, the pizza shop be a good neighbor, build a good rapport with the neighborhood, make sure that they're responsive to any concerns. The owner promised that, there would not be any loitering of any kind, at the outdoor area. And the planning board also noted that even though the outdoor area is common to the building, they did expect the pizza, Old World Pizzeria, to sort of take ownership of the cleanliness, as it's just outside their restaurant and will likely be used by a lot of their patrons. I think I summed that up.
Good job.
Okay.
So my comments on that, first I have a question. You're selling slices?
Yeah.
Excellent. We like slices. I'm sure downtown workers will like slices too. So family friendly. And these tables you have, 4 tables, are they 2 tops, 4 tops? What are they?
They're going to be 2 top tables.
Yeah, so you might fit one family.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe it's family friendly because it's pizza. The outdoor portion, help me understand what's going on outdoors, because it's a fairly large patio, right?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't that be like part of your operation? Could be really great.
So-
And it's kind of like wishy-washy, like, well, we'll let people sit there if they want, and we'll clean it up. I don't get it. Why isn't this your outdoor cafe?
Part of the lease that we signed, that area was a common area. So we did talk to the landlord about getting patio furniture out there. And at the last meeting, they did bring up the cleanliness of the area, that people would be, there might be trash in the area. So our team will, I guess, supervise the area to ensure the trash is cleaned up. But
What about the furniture? You said you didn't, be more clear about
so
who's
we are
providing the
working with the landlord to help get furniture out there.
I think what he's saying is the landlord has said no because it's common area for all the tenants. Is that correct?
May I?
Yep.
There's other leases that they promised that common area to, prior leases for other tenants in the
You
building.
know that for a fact?
If it's a common area and there's more tenants in the building, I can pretty much guarantee it.
So who's going to furnish it?
We're working on that right now, so I'm trying to work jointly. There's an agreement that we will furnish it, but we're trying to see how to make it work for everybody.
Wait, there's an agreement with the landlord that you will furnish it?
No, not that we will, that either us or them will furnish it.
It will be furnished.
Is that part of the SLUP?
No.
No.
He's representing to us that it will be furnished.
Right, but
And
he
that they-
doesn't have any ownership or leasehold rights to the outdoor space.
I
So
get that, but he's saying that he has an agreement.
He's saying he's trying to get.
No, I'm trying to make something work.
But it's not tied
I
to
don't know.
special land use.
To me, and I'm happy to open it up to you guys, I think that's a really important aspect. If you want family-friendly, we want family-friendly. 8 seats inside doesn't really cut
It's
it as
limited, yeah.
family-friendly. So as much outdoor dining, that would be my preference. I don't know how we can make that happen.
You cannot. If he doesn't have an opportunity for exclusive leasehold, we can't tie a special land use permit to something that's impossible for him to obtain.
He
We
can
can-
continue working with the landlord and try to work out something, but we
But
can't.
then my
quite-
question,
Who's the landlord?
Brian Nager.
Brian Major, yeah.
We've worked well with Brian Nager in the past, right?
We have worked with
Like
Brian.
when the parking lot floods, right? Is there any influence that the city can have just by writing a letter to Mr. Nager saying, if my fellow commissioners agree with me, that outdoor dining is important there, that he gives some consideration to our desire for something more than just, a couple of benches or whatever.
the only question I would have on that particular thing, if he's going to put in outside furniture, the next thing to file is going to be a bistro request. So let's try to do it all at once.
Yeah, I got multiple points.
Well, he's
in
not
here.
going to get a bar with 10 seats and 65, anywhere near 65 seats
We're
in
not
there.
serving alcohol.
Yeah. So,
Yet.
Commissioner Haig, you had a comment?
Well, yeah, he kind of touched on the yet, because we have another instance where we're not serving alcohol, and now it's going through the we want a bistro process without the taco place, where there's no outdoor seating. But just the observation here, on just Google Street View, that common area, it has patio tables, 4-top tables, chairs, umbrellas, everything in that common area already. So it looks like the resource is there within a shared area. I think probably from my side, the bigger concerns I would have would be littering, food waste, and then, because it's next to farmer's market and right next to the river down at the bottom there as well, that's a big rodent attractor, and we want to make
Pizza?
sure.
Or the river?
Food waste next to the river, because it's a
okay.
conduit for rodents and other animals to be coming up. It's a pathway. It's a pathway for
So
wildlife.
how does,
So
I'm
my
sorry, how does that-
concern, my only concern is if we do that, it's got to be really, really clean. I don't mind that. I actually would like to see that used appropriately because it looks like it should be now. If Mr. Najor is on board with that, I'm fine with it. I just want it to be
Does the
kept
SLUP
super clean.
address cleanliness? Or that's just a law, right? I mean, he's got.
Right, and there's been food establishments in that spot as far back as I can remember with people eating outside different things for years and years and years.
Yeah, but the difference here, as I see it, is as he said, the idea is also that it can be take out because the 4 seats inside, you're not going to be making enough business to support yourself. So the idea is throughput. And on a nice day, it'd be great to sit out there. I just don't want,
Well, we're going to have
not your
also
problem, but pizza boxes dumped or pizza crust because kids don't want to eat the crust and they're throwing them around. That's slightly different to a sit-down establishment. That's where I see the differentiation.
There's been sandwiches in and out of that spot for years too, but that would be on the property owner. And if he is allowing debris, despite whatever agreement they come to, we would be addressing that with him, with the property owner, to make
and-
sure that there's not debris.
I don't know that it bears directly on this, but we're going to be installing at Booth Park, right? A corner feature with tables.
Correct,
That'll be
and I
good for your
assume that's where the
business.
family-friendly comes in, because you can go across, get your
Right.
pizza, and sit at the park.
Right, right. Okay. Any other comment, questions, motion?
You gotta close. we still in public?
No, I closed it.
Okay, I'll make a motion if you may.
Not good at opening them, but I'm pretty good at
Fair enough. I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution to approve the special land use permit for 600 North Old Woodward, Suites 101 and 203 to permit a new food and drink establishment, Old World Pizzeria, to open in the O2 zoning district.
Second.
Comment? Is this a roll call?
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Therese Long?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Haig?
Yes.
Hope it was worth your time.
Welcome to Birmingham.
Welcome.
The pizza looks
It does look
excellent.
good.
It's very good.
He's hungry.
I'll take a slice.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're back to the second bird item. Item D, a resolution to award the Bird Phase 1B project contract. This is not a public hearing. This is a report from Melissa Coda, who is here. Magic, like the genie. Wow.
Evening, City Commission in person. Tonight, bring forward to you the contract award for Bird Phase 1B project. This is located on Bird Avenue from Grant to Cummings Avenue. The city received bids on February 12th, 2026, and we received 6 bids. And the summary for the bid summary is attached to the memo. The lowest bidder was FDM Contracting at $1,298,186.82. As for normal engineering projects that we bring forward, the resolution is for the contract amount and then plus 10% contingencies. So with the 10% contingencies, the total amount is $1,428,005.50. And FDM Contracting has done work in the city previously. Last year, they worked on actually Bird Phase 1A project, and the year before that, they worked on Reading Road. And then in 2023, they worked on the Westwood project. And I'm available to answer any questions the commission may have.
Let's do that in the context of a motion. Would someone humor me with a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion adopting a resolution to award Bird Phase 1B project number 7-26 parens to FDM Contracting Incorporated in the amount of $1,298,186.82 plus a 10% construction contingency for a total of $1,428,005.50. In addition, to authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city contingent upon execution of the agreement and meeting all the insurance and bond requirements by FDM Contracting Incorporated. Funding for this project has been budgeted from the following accounts: Local Street Fund, $668,474.95, from Fund Number 203.0-449.001-981.0100, comprising the project award and 10% contingencies. Sewer Fund, $691,371.45, $691,371.45, from Fund Number 59.0.0-537.000-981-0100, comprising the project award and 10% contingencies. The Water Fund, $483,413.70, from Fund ID number 591-0-544.000-981.0100, comprising the project award and 10% contingencies for total construction costs of $1,428,005.50, comprising the project award and 10% contingencies.
Second.
Could she have just said, move the suggested resolution?
In a lesser city.
Sometimes you want us to read the whole thing, like these SADs.
We can talk about it another time.
Okay.
Second.
All right.
Already seconded.
Comments? Public? Online? Raise your hand. I'll close that, please.
Commissioner Therese Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Haig?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes. Moving to item E.
I did actually just want to say something about that last one. You skipped past us. You went public and then
Okay,
roll call.
go on.
So actually, it was a couple of very positive comments. The report from G2, I spoke with the city manager about this earlier. I just want to say it in public. The report from G2 was really helpful, and it would be nice if we see those every time. We don't always get them, but it was very, very constructive.
For the public who is listening, what are you referring to in terms of the report from G2?
Report on geotechnical investigation, Bird Avenue reconstruction project phase 1B, page 533.
It's the soil study that was done. They do the soil core sampling, and it's generally attached to most of the road project contracts. It's very, very deep within the bidding documents, but it's there.
It had a lot of useful information in it, and one of the things that I spoke to the city manager about this is not for this particular motion, but what I noted out of the 3 borings was there was a difference in the construction of the road in 3 spots. And perhaps we need to take some of the lesson out of that to see if we could look at changing how we do road construction in the future, because the first boring had a 10-inch thick deck with a large gravel base. And my point that I made to the city manager was, if that's a road construction technique that we find actually gives us a road that lasts 60 or 70 years, is it worth us looking at doing that versus the duration of the roads like further down where it went down to only a 6-inch slab of concrete? Is this something we want to look at for the future, getting value for the other things we've looked at under infrastructure? Is it better to go for a slightly more expensive road construction that then we don't look at until our children are ready to retire?
Okay.
That was the
Very
point about
interesting.
that particular report that was extremely useful that we hadn't really seen in that detail before.
And we're glad you looked at that report, and perhaps that is an item that you bring up with the city manager, the city engineer, or a topic for future discussion. Because I'm all about better roads that last longer. We move along to item E, an ordinance to amend chapters 82 and 110 of the Birmingham Code of Ordinances to move and update the enabling language for the Multimodal Transportation Board. Leah.
Yes, Leah Blazinski, city planner, and the item is the ordinance amendment for the enabling ordinance for the Multimodal Transportation Board. So I'll just give a brief overview, a bit of background for anyone listening, just that in late 2025, the Multimodal Transportation Board faced some confusion about their role in capital improvement projects and their role in city governance in general. And so the board has been under a moratorium for approximately 6 months since September 2025, with the last regular meeting being August 7th, 2025. And also in December, we held a joint meeting, December 11th, 2025, we held a joint meeting where city commissioners and the Multimodal Transportation Board had the opportunity to spend a good amount of time exchanging thoughts and brainstorming ideas about the role of the Multimodal Transportation Board within the city of Birmingham's governance. And so after taking into account the city commissioners' viewpoints and advice, what you're seeing tonight is that planning staff has put together a draft ordinance that we feel simplifies and modernizes the Multimodal Transportation Board's enabling ordinance, and also introduces an appropriate amount of flexibility into the language of the purpose and duties section to allow for effective planning, visioning, and study of evolving trends in multimodal transportation. At the joint meeting, we heard a lot of different things, a lot of differing opinions and priorities in relation to the work of the board, but we also were able to distill some pretty clear consensus from that meeting, such as this board is a really valuable forum for public conversations related to multimodal transportation in the city, and that the board should remain as such. And so tonight's proposed ordinance updates, we updated the structure and the composition to mirror the style of newer board enabling ordinances. We also moved this enabling ordinance into the planning section of the Code of Ordinances so that it's alongside other boards that focus on visioning for the city, such as the Planning Board, the Design Review Board, and the Environmental Sustainability Committee. And then the proposed ordinance tonight also simplifies the purpose and duties to focus on the primary purposes, which is to advocate for pedestrians, bicyclists, and transit users. And we eliminated some outdated language in the hopes of providing clarity for all involved. And then we also were anticipating that there may be as yet unknown emerging trends in transportation. And so we made it very clear in there that the City Commission has a clear authority to assign items as desired to the Multimodal Transportation Board. So that's all I prepared to say. I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you. That was an excellent introduction. Does anyone on the commission have any questions for Mrs. Zinski? Commissioner Host.
Leah, would this enable the multimodal board to meet and have things to discuss?
So if you were to pass this ordinance tonight, I would expect that we would restart having the regular meetings of the board, and staff has some ideas of how we could really hit the ground rolling with that. So yes, I think is the answer to your question.
If you remember, the commission's direction was pause until we update the statute or this language and then get everything cleared up, and then they can start meeting again.
They, as in the current members, is that the anticipation? That
Current members,
the current
correct.
members would return?
Yes, because this ordinance does not really change the composition of the existing board. They would still continue to serve.
We have, how many members are on that board?
We do have
There's
7
vacancies,
plus
right?
2 alternates. I think we do have a couple of vacancies right now.
So
Other?
yes, 5 at the moment. 5
okay.
people.
With no alternates?
We have no alternates if we are.
So there's 2 openings?
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions? Yes, Kevin Kozlowski, Commissioner.
Yeah, so I had a few questions. I felt like I was having a hard time understanding kind of what an average meeting was going to look like. I felt like some of these things under purpose and duties are things like promote development and maintenance, promote through education, ensure sensitivity, even to some degree assist with implementation. Can you walk me through what kinds of things you think are going to show up in a multimodal meeting where the board will weigh in on those kinds of things?
For sure. That's a really good question. So I guess in a way with some of these, we are asking, I guess, for your trust of staff in that we would be bringing sort of in the order of what we feel is most important, the next items for the board. So just off the top of my head, like when we talk about the implementing the current multimodal plan and the relevant city plans, for us in planning, that's like a really big one at the moment that we're like kind of excited to get started on. And so of course we need to update the multimodal transportation plan, but we still have one and it's still not complete. It's substantially complete, but I could foresee an activity at the multimodal transportation board where we review that plan and we can we can take inventory. Staff can take inventory and bring it to the board of which items are still kind of out there in the open. Something else we discussed today we might do is kind of look ahead. You know, you guys have been spending a lot of time with the capital improvement plan and how to best present that to the city and make it digestible and easy for people to see what projects are coming up next. So we're kind of excited to follow those processes and look a few years out. And so instead of like, you know, the roads that engineering is signing contracts for and getting designed for this year, we would probably look out a few years to roads that they are going to be doing in the near future so that we can do things like take the Birmingham 2040 plan, which is our most recent master plan, and actually, because at the time we wrote that plan, we knew that the multimodal plan was really old and needed updated. They actually put a lot in that plan related to transportation and got pretty specific with some of it. So we would be looking in the planning department to kind of like take the plans that we have and pull out those specific pieces and line them up with the capital improvement project and then prioritize, you know, where the board can start to proactively study what could some implementation look like that furthers pedestrian and cyclist safety and comfort and transit users.
So the idea is that staff is going to look ahead and then bring items to multimodal and say, this is going to be coming down the pipeline. We would like you to take a look at it and weigh in and give us some thoughts about it. Okay, I think that's good. And because we had discussed at the meeting also that I think we should encourage the Multimodal Transportation Board to be proactive about thinking about ways to improve safety in the city. And on the note about safety, I was also a little bit concerned. I felt like we were, and I think it's good to focus on active transportation. Sort of a nitpick, there's things like electric scooters and e-bikes. Well, are those active transportation? Well, maybe not, but they're probably going to use the same facilities. Is it cool to just assume that, yeah, multimodal is going to be thinking about all that stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Because,
and then, sorry, my second thing is I'm also very interested in intersections. You know, I felt like we said, okay, don't worry so much about the cars. We want you guys to focus on the pedestrians and the cyclists, and where do the pedestrians and the cyclists and the cars meet? Well, it's at the intersections. Do we consider weighing in on intersection design, on, you know, speed mitigation, stop signs? Should we stripe crosswalks? Should we paint some bump outs, right? Is that stuff that is still going to be within what we would consider the purview or the purpose and duties of this new multimodal board? Or would we say, no, that's going to be some street design thing and we're going to leave that up to whatever consultants we hire to do street design?
okay, so I'm not sure if I'm fully understanding the question. I think that yes, we would.
Okay, so let me you know, we have lots of residents who come to us and say, oh my gosh, this intersection by my house, there's a stop sign there and people just blow right through it, or maybe there's no stop sign there and people are going 30 miles an hour. Why don't you guys put a stop sign there?
Okay.
Is that something that the multimodal board would say, okay, residents have voiced concerns about this intersection, let's think about mitigation strategies we can use to slow the traffic down in this intersection? Should we add a stop sign? Should we stripe some crosswalks, et cetera? Or are we saying, no, that's not pedestrian and cycling facilities, so that's not within their scope?
So I guess I would rephrase, it's not that it's not pedestrian and cycling facilities. It's not that cut and dry that's like we're only going to look at facilities. It's more of like, if you talk about the complaints coming from residents, that is something that is currently handled by the police in partnership with our traffic consultants who regularly respond to those complaints, research the issue, and then they come up with a solution. And oftentimes those solutions can be things like stop signs, crosswalks, additional signage, and that always does come to the city commission for approval. We've seen a lot of success with that process, to be honest, and so I don't think we would expect as a matter of course to just be bringing every single instance of that to the multimodal. That's more of a reactive, the reactive we were trying to go away from, and it's not that it's not important, it's very important. I personally believe it's working really well with the police handling it, getting the guidance from our traffic consultant, and then when it comes to something that they can't handle with those traffic control device solutions that they have, the authority to put in place and bring to you guys, if it's more of a design concern, I would hope that we would be catching that in this process where we're reviewing all of our plans, we're reviewing the capital improvements plan, and then we're making sure at the outset that we're very well understanding the particular pain points of that road, including the intersection interaction. But I don't know that we would go out of order and try to come up with a solution.
So
does that
let me see if I'm
Yeah.
getting. I think I'm getting this right. So you're saying multimodal's going to sit up here, and you guys are all going to discuss plans. 2040 plan, potentially revamping the multimodal transportation board plan, and among the elements of those plans may be ideas for intersection safety improvements. Maybe we want to stripe a lot more crosswalks. Maybe we want to stripe in front of all the stop signs, something like that. And that would be the decision, would be sort of, this is the way this is something we would like to pursue going forward. And they would sort of make the decision one time, and then when residents come with complaints, then the police department would work with the traffic consultant, and they would consult this plan as part of their workshopping a solution to the problem. Is that a reasonable assessment of what you just said, or did I get off topic somewhere?
I see the police chief is here because, thank you.
Could tell he
A
was
lot of these things go directly to the police department, like for instance, should there be a stop sign placed here?
Yes.
And then there's a study that gets done, an analysis, there are warrants you have to meet. It's not just a general planning question. I think what.
Yeah, so I do feel we might be missing paths here, I guess, because I was suggesting that would not be the role of the multimodal board. It would be something they could take into consideration when a road resurfacing is coming up. But as a matter of general course, the police handles those complaints, and if traffic control devices.
But they would also not be suggesting some broad policy, we should forbid parking within X feet of an intersection and stripe it out.
Yeah,
so
and they
everybody
don't
knows.
now.
They would.
That's not anything
So nobody does that right now. We basically.
No, and
The police department works with the traffic consultant, but there's no grand master plan about how to design intersections more safely. We're doing it as on a
Well, other
street-by-street
than the
basis?
standards that the traffic and the engineers go by. And I think what we're suggesting is that if the city commission desires for the board to spend their time studying and coming up with something like a policy about what you suggested, something around stop signs, you would assign that specific interest to the board.
Okay.
Ask them to study and research it, and then they could propose, a recommended action to you guys. But that's the direction we would hope would come from city commission if that's what you want them to spend some time focusing on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I just want to add one point of clarification, what you brought up about stop signs and other traffic control devices. So one of the things that was becoming a little bit of a concern was that when we had those requests or we did those studies, whatever the traffic control device was, that comes from a study that was done, as the city manager said, that is based on the warrants that are required through the Michigan Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, right? So when the engineer comes back and makes a recommendation based on that study that it meets those warrants, what we don't want to have happen is go to a public board who decides, no, we're not going to follow that recommendation.
So that's because of the warrants, because of the manual, we go forward with those type of things. If there's other options that can be done, then that is what she's referring to in terms of the design options and stuff like that. But those other warrants that we find out through the traffic engineer, that we do that study, and they say it's determined, that will eventually come to the commission because we have to have a traffic control order in place to enforce that new traffic control device, which has to be done by a resolution.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Yep.
So let's try to focus on the new language and whether we approve or disapprove or want to amend the new language being suggested. Commissioner Hake.
Thank you. Just thought about it while everybody was talking as well, especially Commissioner Kozlowski's points. We specify bicycle and pedestrian, we specify active transportation. How does this tie into things like the public transportation? For instance, we had the presentations from, I think it was a combination of MDOT and SMART about how the public transport system was going to be proposed to go up and down Woodward and then expanded out. I forget the name of the plan, but there's something where it goes down the major mile roads. Would that not fall into multimodal because of bus transport? But I don't see anything in here that actually says we'll work with public transport. I see pedestrian and bicycle. Bicycle, interpret that broadly.
Where would public transport come into play other than on Woodward Avenue, which we don't control?
Mile roads, and it was also, there was discussion of transport loops in the 2040 plan. I don't remember how much stayed into it. There was that, and there's also the ride share, and we've talked about local mobility. So my curiosity is, how does public transportation feature into multimodal? Because it is a modal.
Okay, how does public transport figure into multimodal?
Yeah, so I don't want you to think it's an oversight or something the planning department's not thinking about it. We think about it all the time. Nick's Nick's spending half a day fixing up bus shelters, with broken glass. But I think the reason that it's not as prominently, it's not prominently in this language, and of course we're open to your, what you desire to see us change it as. But the reason it's not in there now is just simply because we're not a transit operator. We don't operate transit. And so I guess if we were going to put it in, I would think about it more from the user perspective, that we're trying to create a safe and comfortable environment for transit users. But all of the transit that operates within our city is not something that we own or control as a city. Some cities do. And I didn't want to confuse that in the language, but of course we want to work with SMART and work with MDOT. And if we want to add something about that collaboration and that partnership, it's definitely something that we're doing.
I think it needs something.
I agree.
I would say that should we get the plan back someday from MDOT, the way this is written, we have the discretion to assign it to them for review. And we can do that. Or if Waymo decided to show up and they want to park taxis near Shane Park, we can assign that to them for review. But that's our discretion when it gets to us, after discussion about where it should go.
Is it safe to say that you're trying to eliminate a lot of the compulsory reviews that the multimodal board was charged with, which led them not to focus on some of the stuff?
Some of the multimodal things,
Yes.
right. For instance, we have street width standards. We have a process on when to improve a road, if there's a petition, that kind of thing. And they got mired in a lot of those things.
Yes.
And basically, it's not, their job is now going to be higher level, other modes other than the private vehicle. Making our system better for all of those users, and that includes transit.
So trying to move things along, which is my job, is anybody suggesting any amendments to this? Are we happy with it? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And I'm going to add one more thing. There was an agreement with the city manager, I think. I had to look up what active transportation is. and it's not defined. And I was like, it was actually on the second read or third read where I was like, wait, active, what does that mean? What does that even mean? So I don't know.
So, I mean, I could respond to that.
No, I know what it means now.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know that anybody reading this ordinance is going to know what it means. Is it sufficiently a term of art, or a sufficient term of art, that it doesn't need definition? I mean, I Googled it, and it gave me the answer.
Sure.
Is it in the dictionary?
You're looking at Nick.
Even a planning dictionary.
Because I happened to mention to the mayor on the phone today that I specifically said to Nick, shouldn't we have a definition in this somewhere? And he made some changes to imply what it means without providing a distinct definition. So there's flexibility. Am I saying this correctly, Nick? There's flexibility to make sure it covers what we need it to cover.
Did everybody here understand
Yep.
what active transportation is?
Yep.
Maybe. You're with me. Okay, that's my only comment. Otherwise, happy to entertain a motion after we hear from council.
Yes, and if there is an inclination towards the motion to lift the moratorium and return to meetings as directed by staff, that ought to be a motion as well.
Oh, a separate motion.
You can do it as the suggested and then and.
Okay. But there is no "and" written down, so
There is not,
somebody's going to have to "and" it out of their head.
We asked if we would need a motion to lift the moratorium, and the answer is yes.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd like to make a motion adopting an ordinance to amend Chapter 110, Transportation Systems, to remove Article 2 in its entirety, and to make a motion adopting an ordinance to amend Chapter 82, Planning, to add Article 7 to amend the Multimodal Transportation Board composition, terms, compensation, organization, and meetings, scope of authority, and purpose and duties, and make a motion to lift the moratorium and to have the Multimodal Board begin meeting again at date and times to be set by city staff.
Second.
Great. We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments on the motion? From the board? From the public? I have a question. Is this going to be a regular, are they going to meet regularly, or are they going to meet as needed?
So I was just planning on going back to the regular schedule that we have. It's the first Thursday of every month, I believe.
And you think there'll be sufficient business to?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
We've got stuff.
All right.
And it's in the ordinance that the Multimodal Transportation Board shall hold meetings at
Shall.
such time and place as may be established by the planning director or an authorized representative. So if we need fewer or we need more, we can decide that as we go.
Excellent.
Schedule and cancel.
Any other comments, questions? Do we need a roll call on this?
No. Well,
Although-
wait a second. You are adding an ordinance. Do it,
Roll call,
yes.
please.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Haig?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Okay, great. Excellent. Now we move on to item F, resolution to meet in closed session. Could I get a resolution, please? Motion.
Yes. There. I'd like to make a resolution to meet in closed session pursuant to MCL 15.268, Section 8, parentheses 1, parentheses D of the Open Meetings Act to consider the purchase or lease of real property up to the time an option purchase or lease that real property is obtained.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Therese Long?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Haig?
Accused.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Okay. Item G, commission items for future discussion. Motion is required to bring up the item at the next reasonable agenda. No discussion on top will happen tonight. Anybody? Commissioner Host.
I'd like to make a motion for a future agenda item. Ann Arbor, Ferndale, New York City, as well as countless other municipalities have short-term rental regulations, and we should be proactive and review these cities' ordinances.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. The motion is to review the ordinances of the cities of New York, Ann Arbor,
Ferndale, and any others you want to.
and, okay, and so at the next meeting, we're going to we were going to review them. All it is to review them. They're going to provide those to us. We're going to review them.
We're not going to talk about it tonight, but we will
Just want to be clear on what the motion is so they know what our direction might be if we vote in favor of this. So as long as you're clear on what the direction is, for me, it's like we're going to talk about it the next time if we approve this. At the next meeting, we'll make it more clear what is expected, right? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes 4-3. Did you get the vote? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Any others? Do we need to, I don't think we need to discuss that up here. I was going to suggest, at some point, we talk about this question of no trucks, weight limits, and all that. That's something we can probably do offline. We have now item H, commission discussion on items from a prior meeting. We already talked about item 2, so item 1, city procedure regarding builders, bonds, and road repair. Was that mine?
I like to think it's mine.
I was going to say, I can't remember who it was, but it was in the minutes from the February 23rd meeting, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so pleased to see this back here because to think that we're charging $5,000 to a builder that on average is building $1 million to $4 million home, and it's obvious that the roads are being compromised by the heavy construction equipment.
So we're on, just to focus the conversation, this is step 2.
Yes.
Where you or I, whoever suggested this, recommends or suggests, and I suppose we vote on it, what direction we want to give the city manager for the meeting where we actually make it an agenda item.
Well, I will go so far as to say $25,000 would be more in keeping with the abuse of the road in front of the homes that are being built. We can certainly compromise.
So you want them to consider the amount?
The amount of the money is too low. $5,000
Is there anything else you want them to consider?
No.
Okay.
Can I add one thing to consider?
Sure.
Can we get some stats on what we've retained? We do the inspection and we get the bond money back. How much over, as personally, I like it over time, so as far back as you can go, what have we kept?
It says so in the report. This is brand new and they haven't kept anything.
Okay, good. I missed it. Sorry.
So I'm going to add some things, which I think I already shared with you. I was surprised that I thought we were doing this and we just changed the amount, but it looks like we weren't doing it at all.
Well,
So I'd like, you don't have to do it now, I'd like some clarification about this policy, whether the policy was in existence and we just didn't enforce it, or what? What's the history of this whole bonding for street repairs? And as we move forward, are we collecting and compiling data so that we have a better handle on the likelihood of damage and whether $5,000 is adequate. So if we find that we end up charging on every one, right? Then we know the likelihood of damage is high versus, okay. And then what does it cost to fix this? And is 5,000 adequate? Do our inspections, are they confined to the lot lines? Because you have streets where trucks come in and I have testimony from Commissioner Haig that his street has been damaged by trucks. The damage may not be in front of the house, but if they're cutting a corner tight and destroying that intersection, are we surveying more than just the lot lines involved? And so that. And assuming we bill and collect, where does the money then go? Where does that $5,000 go, or whatever it is? And assuming it goes into the general fund or one of the street funds, can it be applied as a credit to the future resurfacing or cape seal of that same street? Because let's say residents paid, I don't know, a couple $1,000s each to have it cape sealed 2 years ago. Now this guy destroys it, and, is that even a feasible thing for finance to do? Those are the questions that I would like to see answered if the commission votes to take this to the next step. Yes.
I had an additional thing I would like investigated. My concern is about the remedy, the practicality of the remedy. It says that if damage occurs, the engineering part will assist in determining the cost. All repairs must be completed. So it's not clear about whether they're repairing or, or we're repairing. But it says it must be completed prior to a certificate of occupancy being issued. And in Michigan, that is an issue, because if we determine that a repair needs to be completed in November and say it's and it's a cement street and you can't pour for some period of time, are you actually going to prevent somebody from selling a home, keeping a certificate of occupancy from being provided for 3 months or 4 months? So I'm not sure that that's worked out well enough to accommodate, Michigan seasons and how, and if they figured it out, I'd like to see more detail about how that's going to work.
Other suggestions? Okay, go on.
To help with one of your questions, there is precedent for setting an offset to people's assessments by the recovered funds. It has happened before. So it would be nice to see it more documented or enshrined, to your point.
Okay. Well, that's already on the list. Okay, do we have a motion to take this to the next step?
I'll make a motion that we put on the agenda city procedures regarding builders' bonds and road repair.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Nothing removed from the consent agenda. We've discussed communications regarding ICE. We have a notice of intention to appoint to the Board of Building Trades Appeals, a notice of intention to appoint to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, another to appoint to the Birmingham City Commission, and a notice of intention to appoint to the Parks and Recreation Board. Residents are encouraged to look at the city website page on board opportunities and openings. Commissioner comments?
I have one very quick one.
Yes.
Obviously, everybody's seen my letter. I just want to reiterate, I'm not going to rewrite the letter or what have you. You all have it in the packet. This is very much a personal decision on my part. I got married a year ago. I never thought I would leave the city. Lived here for 31 years. but this should no way be viewed by anybody as being my dissatisfaction with this position, with working with the city, with any of you. I've enjoyed it immensely. If I was permitted to continue to serve and not live in the city, I would 100% do so. And I encourage anybody in the city who has lived here and wants to make a difference. We all donate an incredible amount of our time. And we may go about it a different way. We may not agree with everybody, but we all do it because we want to improve this city. So with that, next meeting will be my last. And I continue to, I'm going to be moving to Orchard Lake, so I'm not moving far. But I appreciate everybody's understanding. Thanks.
We appreciate your service.
Thanks.
Okay, there was somebody else had a comment. Commissioner Host.
Yeah, I want to go on public record stating that the city of Birmingham owns 400 East Lincoln, commonly known as the YMCA building. And now that phase one's done, phase two is 2/3 of the building, and the city of Birmingham taxpayers own 100% of that building, and it should be utilized for the benefit of 100% of the taxpayers. And the 2/3 that is currently going to be mothballed include the only public pool available to our citizens in Birmingham, as well as the loss of the YMCA, which is almost totally our community programming for our citizens. And as such, this is not good. It's not responsible government.
Okay. Well, in response to that, I would say we're legislators, and you are a legislator, and if you have proposals to bring forth, bring them on. We're happy to listen. I think all of us. Yes, you have a comment. Commissioner Haig.
I was moving on.
Huh?
I was moving on.
You were moving on?
I just wanted to ask, because Nick's been patient and sat here, item 11E1, the Planning Department annual report, if we wanted to give him an opportunity.
No.
Or not.
I don't. Pretty routine. Is there anything in there that is there something in there that you have a question about? We can certainly question him.
He sat here. I wanted to give him the opportunity if there's anything particular, because I didn't know. That was it.
You have the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, but also we should thank Nick for all the work he's done on the historic preservation.
I did that earlier.
I know,
But we can do it
he
again.
didn't get to stand
Thank
up
you.
and get applause.
All right, so we have Commissioner comments, advisory boards, nothing, legislation, nothing, city staff, nothing. We did mention the Planning Department annual report. For anybody in the public who'd like to see it, it's on the city's website. It details everything the Planning Department has done in the last year. By law, the detailed annual report is by law. So with that, we will be going into closed session now. Do I need to bang the gavel?
Sure.
closed session, and I need a motion. We have nothing to report, right?
Nope.
Nope.
We
Motion to
have a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourned.